that's there, but we've got everything on our Google Hangouts and with TalkShoe, so a lot of things to look forward to within the next few minutes here. And the Cleveland Browns are on the clock. So last year we gave them an A+ grade for Myles Garrett. Steve? No.
No, we didn't hear you. I was tormenting the door guy. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say Darnold is the #1 pick.
I've already got a grade up for him, but I'm not leaking the pick.
It's going to be Darnold or Mayfield.
I heard an agent whisper. I heard an agent whisper in Sam Darnold's ear like Christian Grey. I heard an agent whisper in Darnold's ear like Christian Grey. It was very mortifying and extremely creepy.
Who's Christian Grey?
He's the 50 Shades of Grey guy.
Christian Grey is the 50 Shades of Grey guy.
Yeah.
He's all gray. Okay. Okay. Come on.
The Browns have the 50 Shades of Grey guy has mortified Sam Darnold by whispering that he's going to be the pick in his ear. That might be the tell, folks. The pre-draft tell that I saw. I'm not saying it is the tell. I'm just saying it might be the tell.
Well, let me know so I can link it on Twitter.
Oh, man, this is funny. More Darts tweeted with the pick is in, and with the first pick, the Cleveland Browns select Jeb Bush. And they actually have a photo of Jeb Bush standing next to Goodell. I'm dying. What grade would you give the Browns if they took Jeb Bush?
Have you ever heard of what hazing is like in a locker room? Boy, I know you have never played football in your life. I will get you under the huddle. Like, I will put you at the bottom of a huddle. Oh, sorry.
I saw Sam Darnold.
The bottom of a fumble pile. It's like, anything goes down there. I will make you feel like the smallest running back in history at the bottom of a pile.
I think it is Darnold, but I can't really say. I have a Darnold grade already posted on Draft Utopia, but everyone panicked and said it would be Baker Mayfield, so it could still be Baker Mayfield. But Mark and Tony, they all told me it was a smokescreen and that the plan was to take Darnold. So we'll see. A hockey fan tweeted that the Browns are going to take Rasmus Dahlin, the #1 pick in the NHL draft. They're not going to take a hockey player #1 overall, an 18-year-old hockey player.
We're going to get this thing back on track. No more jokes, no more crap, no more.
I do have a draft game up as well as the live draft grades, and I'm not showing the live draft grades until the Darnold pick is official. If it's not, I'm going to post the Mayfield pick, and I'll have the Mayfield grade up, the Barkley grade up, and the Darnold grade up, and I'll click on Baker Mayfield on my draft game once I get an official read on this pick. I still don't have a read on this pick, and I can't. Even if I did, I would only update the site. I am trying to make a resolution that that's the pick. Dorsey and Hugh Jackson are shaking hands in the Browns war room, and
that must mean the pick is in. It's just, but the thing is, I wouldn't be upset with Mayfield is my #1 quarterback. Has been for 3 years. But the thing is, Darnold has such upside. You gotta love Darnold's upside. And that is his improvement over the last few months is absolutely extraordinary. And as anybody can tell, I am here in at Dos Gatos going live from as we get.
Oren has not said anything since he's been on the call.
So we're gonna work to get this as authentic of an NFL draft experience as we can here. So stay tuned, stay up to date, because the louder it gets, the more ruckus it gets, the more it's going to feel like we're back in New York, back when the NFL draft was strictly in New York. quiet, Browns fans. I just hope they make the right choice at number 1.
Darnold, Barkley are the right choices. Baker Mayfield's a good choice. It's not a terrible choice. It's a good choice. Josh Allen is a terrible choice.
And there's officially 3 minutes, 40 seconds until the number 1 overall pick is announced. So, down the edge of your seat, and I have a feeling we may be in for a surprise. I just get the feeling we are looking, because I've heard Darnold, I've heard Mayfield. I'm thinking it's going to be something unexpected. I don't know what it is, but it seems like the Browns know something that maybe we don't. And John Dorsey, with his connections around the league, I would not doubt it. He didn't get as good as he is just because he twiddled his thumbs and hoped. So, we're going to look up there. 3 minutes remaining. You know who you're going to pick, not him.
I think I know who the Browns are going to pick, but I'm not going to say anything.
If I had to bet money on it, it would be Darnold. Watch they throw it. Honestly, I would love to see Mayfield in a Brown uniform, but for some reason, I'm thinking Saquon Barkley. I'm thinking Saquon Barkley will be the pick. And then you can get him at 6'4". Absolutely diabolical. That would be absolutely terrible. No, it's going to be Mayfield, Brown, joke in typical fashion. Unless they know that somebody else is throwing up a smoke screen at 2 and 3. That is what we have to look at. It's like, what do they know that we may not know? And that is the question.
The pick is in.
It is. It is Baker Mayfield. What they do is curveball.
Wait, no, they have not announced the pick on NFL Network.
Yeah, we are on ESPN right now. I'm watching it. They're going through the Baker Mayfield highlights.
All right.
Comparing him to Drew Brees.
Which is what we compared him to when we did our state-of-the-art SWAT reports back in September. And it's not official on NFL Network yet, just yet.
They're also giving him some comparisons to Brett Favre. But that's what ESPN is saying. The announcement has not been made. As we know, ESPN can be a bit of a pain in the ass, so we're hoping they're accurate this time. Come on. It could also be something. Come on, let's do it. Yeah, it's going to be Mayfield. Yeah, ESPN's got them saying one thing, but until the announcement's made, we cannot jump the gun.
Yep, we cannot jump the gun.
And for some reason, somebody is low-fiving Roger Goodell.
Baker Mayfield. I am double-checking the source code here and the pick before I
It is Baker Mayfield is the guy.
And I have the Baker Mayfield grade posted.
As everybody knows, Baker Mayfield's been my #1 quarterback in this class for 3 years. I am a huge Baker Mayfield fan. I always have been a Baker Mayfield fan. The guy is a leader. The guy is accurate. He's got better arm strength than people believe he does.
Yeah, and
he does have to work on his footwork and channeling his passion in a more productive way, because it often comes out in a very unproductive way. So, but the gumption he has, the playmaking ability he has, he planted a flag, or at least tried to, in the...
I want to see him go to Heinz Field and plant a Browns flag at the 50-yard line of Heinz Field. That is what I want to see Baker Mayfield do. I want to see him do that. I gave it an A- grade. It is a better pick than Josh Allen. It is a better pick than Lamar Jackson. I gave it an A- grade, and I have Baker 5th on the draft game. So I'm gonna. Ryan, I'm letting Braden talk first. Braden talking first. Hierarchy, Ryan. Braden likes Baker too. He's gonna give his thoughts first. Ryan, Braden's talking. I'm gonna go ahead, Braden.
John Dorsey should be applauded. He just saved the Cleveland Browns with this pick.
He did. I gave it an A- grade. It's an excellent selection. I have blue chip QB grades on Darnold and Rosen, but this is the next best thing at the quarterback position, and it's an excellent selection.
Yeah, and you really have to, it's like, you have to really, like,
Ryan, let Joey finish.
No, let Ryan go. Let Ryan go. It's a B-. Everybody knows my opinion on it.
Everyone knows the Heisman first. If you look at the past couple quarterbacks that had any success, the only one that sticks out besides
Winston and Mariota both won the Heisman. They're still in the league. So this Heisman myth is just wrong on so many levels.
Bradford. Am I supposed to be talking or is Chris supposed to be talking? Because I'm pretty sure he said Ryan talk. So basically, if you look at the past couple of Heisman,
Now, come on, wait.
Baker makes 6 progressions. That matters.
And then you also had 2012. Cam Newton was really that one. Half that, I mean, yeah, you have Marcus Mariota, Johnny Manziel, Sam Bradford.
It's an excellent pick. 3-time All-American, 3-time All-Big 12 selection. You're talking about a player that had 3,500 or more passing yards in 3 consecutive seasons, 3 consecutive seasons of 68 completion percentage. From a production standpoint, this is the best pick you can make.
I'd like to point out how hypocritical that sounds, how you pick up these numbers. Yeah,
Mason Rudolph sucks on tape. He doesn't make progressions, Ryan. You value arm talent over accuracy and progressions, and that is why you usually get it wrong with the quarterbacks. You thought Paxton Lynch was the best quarterback after Goff in 2016, and you thought Kaiser was the best quarterback last year.
I love Kaiser.
Now,
I like Mahomes better than Kaiser.
I got on the Kaiser thing too because Kaiser was a guy with all the physical tools to be a superstar. He was just dumb as a box of rocks, okay?
Yeah, but Mahomes was better. He had better tape. So I'm going to get the Giants pick. Pick is in for the New York Giants, so I'm going to try to get that information.
Coach grade is going to be Saquon. Yeah, it's got to be Barkley.
I already have a Barkley grade, and I have a Darnold grade for the Jets at 3 because I had a backup plan in case the Browns went with Baker at 1. I had a backup plan, and that was giving the Giants Barkley and the Jets the Jets got Darnold. It's sounding like yes. It sounds like it's going to be Saquon Barkley from what we're hearing, but I'll get to the Saquon Barkley pick in a second and break that down, and I'll break this pick down shortly because I do have a Baker Mayfield film session. Thomas Coburn helped me evaluate them.
Goodell is going up to the podium. This is an interesting pick because we've had conflicting reports about the Giants pick in the last few hours. So,
woo!
It is announced Saquon Barkley, running back Penn State, amongst the thought process of the owner wanted a quarterback, the general manager wanted Barkley. Barkley is the man that goes for the Giants.
And this is the first A+ grade of the draft.
At this point, because Manny needs that running game to succeed.
Yes, he does. And Barkley had questions heading into this year, like vision, pass protection. He's corrected that, and he is the complete player. I have a max grade on him. This is the 3rd max grade I handed out. I gave Andrew Luck and Myles Garrett max grades as well. I didn't give Ezekiel Elliott or Leonard Fournette max grades. And while you can debate those guys are better than Barkley, I just really think Barkley checks off a lot of the boxes, and he's going to help this New York Football Giants team. This is easily an A+ grade for me. And I've already clicked on Saquon Barkley on our draft game, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to Google Hangout and let you guys read the Saquon Barkley write-up really quickly because I've already clicked Barkley on the draft game. I'm assuming the next pick will be Darnold to the Jets at 3. but I can't really assume anything.
Remember that Saquon Barkley has been compared to Barry Sanders. Now that is both a plus and a huge minus. Because remember, while Barry Sanders probably had the most big plays of anybody in NFL history, he also had the most rushes for a loss in NFL history. He will hit, and he will hit the big ones. He will be tough to break down, but he will have some plays that he's going to lose some yards. It's going to make him work a little bit on offense.
I have not heard Oren say anything yet. Oren, are you on the call? Right, yeah. I kind of want to hear what Oren has to say. I've not heard him on the call once yet. So if you're on the call, please say something. Oren, the guy from the Raiders fan, he wanted to moderate this draft with us. I have not heard anything from him yet.
Raiders fan. That's usually what happens when you become a Raiders fan. Usually kind of get you.
At least Braden's being courteous about it, but yeah. I gave it an A+ grade with the Giants. I gave it an A+. You're just doing this to debate with me, and it's very predictable. It's an A+. He's the best player in the draft. It's an A+. It's easily an A+. I think Joey and I are on the same page with this one.
Well, I mean, I guess when I was looking at some of the numbers, you have less than 100-yard games in college, and I think a lot of people tackles, not forward tackles. So, like I said, I don't think he did very damage. If he can catch the ball, you can argue that.
Now,
Braden, what are your thoughts on this pick? The Jets have 4 minutes to pick, and Braden has not said anything yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if you're going to take a quarterback, you got to take Quentin Nelson, in my opinion.
All right.
Yeah, but you got to take the draft. You get the shit. Draft the best player and protect my name.
I do have the third pick. The Jets' third pick is in. I do have it, but I'm not announcing it yet. But I do have the logistics for it, and I think it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what's going to happen here. You guys want to take a guess at what's going to happen here?
It's going to be Donald here. Like, it has to be Donald.
Yeah, 2 people have already confirmed that, but Goodell hasn't. But 2 people have confirmed that. A fake Ian Rappaport account said it was Lamar Jackson, but it was a fake account. So 3.
that would be the worst leak out of history.
What?
It has to be Donald. But the question I have at number 4, I'm looking at where is Roquan Smith going to go? Because he is the best.
Yeah, I think if Bradley Chubb goes to the Browns at 4, Roquan's going to go to the Colts at 6. They brought in 3 guards in free agency.
Roquan's the best player left in this draft, period.
I have Roquan at number 9 on my draft game, but he is a top 5, top 6 talent, period. If we're just grading off talent, he's a top 6 player. Okay, so I do have multiple people confirming the third pick. I'm gonna go to it on the Draft Utopia page because I already have the grade typed up. But should I go to it or should I wait? I can wait to click the player on the draft game, but I am gonna scroll down here to the number 3 pick, and it is in fact. I gave this an A grade. This pick, Sam Darnold, I gave it an A grade. And I'll explain why. I'm not giving a team that traded 2 second-round picks an A+ grade. Even though Darnold's the best quarterback, in my opinion, I'm not giving the Jets an A+ grade for trading 2 second-round picks to get Sam Darnold. And I'm waiting until it's official before I click Darnold in the draft game. But I did give this an A grade, and it's one of those things where if the Jets didn't give up a 2019 second-round pick, I really wouldn't have an issue with this selection, but they gave that up. That's my big issue with this selection. So it only gets an A grade instead of an A-plus grade. I mean, we penalized the Rams and the Eagles with draft grades for moving up for Goff, so we have to hold the Jets to the same standard. Otherwise, we're biased. Yeah, it is. They sent a 2019 second or third round pick as well as 2 second-round picks to the Colts to get Darnold. And all those Jets fans in August and September who brought their Sam Darnold jerseys to the preseason get their wish. Who wore the Sam Darnold jerseys to the preseason and regular season games, they get their wish. They get Sam Darnold at number 3. And it's Mark Sanchez all over again. I'm kidding. It won't be as disastrous. This will actually be a game changer for the Jets. And they'll finally have their quarterback. But in order for Darnold to succeed, they've got to patch up this offensive line. Kelvin Beacham's an okay left tackle, but I wouldn't want him to be Darnold's blind side. And they need a right tackle over Brandon Shell this year at 72. But Darnold to the Jets, that is official now.
I feel like Darnold dodged the bullet by not getting drafted by the Browns. I actually think he's going to have a really successful quarterback in his career. I compare him to Brett Favre.
Well, here's the thing with Darnold. The highest upside of any quarterback in this draft, he doesn't have the low score. I think that goes to the aforementioned guy who killed his draft stock, for the last few days. But at the same time, he's not the steadiest. He's not a guaranteed 10-year player. I think that's what you get in Bradford. But Darnold has the ability to be a guaranteed 10-year starter, all-star for the so highest ceiling of any quarterback in this draft. Braden, what do you think about this?
I think they look at us first and call them Denver. If not throws in their spots, they don't take them. It's an automatic cap grade.
I am in complete agreement with that unless they get Nelson or a really good blue chip player.
You get the second best quarterback in the draft. And the next best quarterback in the draft, quarterback is more important than ever. If you can get a franchise, don't take them to stop. It's that big.
Are they going to try to trade this pick, or are they going to make a move here? I am trying to find out.
Well, here are some of the rumors I heard that throughout the day today. There's a trade, but Dorsey won't make a trade unless it is exactly what he wants. There are rumors that the Browns may make, even if they don't make a trade, they may go McClinton to give them a left tackle.
I've heard Bradley Chubb, I've heard Calvin Ridley, and I have heard Denzel Ward.
The Browns have a cornerback, Tyrod Taylor, on the trade block. So do not overlook cornerback or safety at the number 4 pick.
I've heard 3 things, Joey. Bradley Chubb, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Denzel Ward, and Calvin Ridley. I've heard those 4 players mentioned in the discussion with the Browns.
I've got to go with Fitzpatrick due to what I've heard. They put cornerbacks on the market. They put other people on the market. I've got to go with Fitzpatrick here. Whether he's going to be the pick, I don't know, but I've got to go with it.
Oren, what are your thoughts on this so far? Top three. I think they could trade back for more picks. I definitely think it's possible. They still have 3 minutes on the clock here.
Remember, the incident earlier last year where before Dorsey was hired, where the Browns launched the trade, they walked us through the trade process. It takes about 2 minutes. It takes about 2 minutes to get the pick to the podium. The trade process takes about 30 seconds. Write down what each team writes down the trade, word for word. That's it to league office. League office approves it.
I just saw a tweet that said the Cleveland Browns have traded the number 4 pick to the Buffalo Bills for a double bacon cheeseburger. So if this is true, I am holding Ryan entirely responsible for the Browns' woes in this draft. Because that sounds like something Ryan would do. Trade the 4th pick for a double bacon cheeseburger.
Yeah, that would be Ryan, yes. As ridiculous as it is, that would be Ryan. They need to pick it in.
The pick is in.
No, they didn't trade it. Dorsey said he would only take a King Ransom for the pick, so this is got to be tough. I'm going Fitzpatrick. I think it's Fitzpatrick. Got to be Joe.
No, it's not either one of those players. It's actually a surprise player from what I'm hearing. It's a player that you're going to hate. It's a defensive back, but I'm not revealing it. It's not Minka, but it is a defensive back. You're going to hate the pick. It's Denzel Ward. Yes, Joey. Way to go, Joey.
I do not hate this pick.
He's the 24th best player on my board. I know they need a corner, but he's 5'10".
I don't hate this pick because I want you to look at Ward.
It's a C grade for me.
Physically gifted, most athletic defensive backs in this draft. He just doesn't have fundamentally. He's got a lot of coaches around him that are.
Denzel Ward's not a number 1 corner. That's why this is an awful pick.
But athletically, he is probably the best athlete in this draft.
He's not a cover corner. He's not a lockdown guy like Josh Jackson. Josh Jackson's better. Denzel's faster, but Josh Jackson is better in coverage. So for me to sit here and say,
but that's the thing. That's why I say he is the best athlete, but he needs help with the fundamentals. Now he's got coaches. Do you really think that the coaches they have in Cleveland are not going to look at the fundamentals and say, "You suck. You need work. We're going to give you the work you need. We're going to fix it."
If this was not a quarterback, this would have been an F grade for me. If this was not a cornerback, this would have been an F grade for me. It's a huge reach, but I'm going to give it a C grade.
There's only one player that if it wasn't a quarterback, it would be an F grade for me, and that would be Roquan Smith, because I think Roquan Smith is the best player left in this draft. So Smith would have been at least an A- for me, simply because
Denzel Ward's a C grade. So the Browns begin this draft with an A- grade for Baker Mayfield and a C grade for Denzel Ward here at number 4.
I don't see it as a C. I would see it as I could go with a B on it because Ward is, as I said, most athletic defensive back in the draft. He has so much upside.
Jair Alexander would have been a much better selection if you were going for an athletic corner. Jair would have been a much better selection. It's basically like taking Eli Apple in the top 5.
I think Ward needs a lot more work on the fundamentals, his field awareness, and everything else. But as far as athleticism goes and ability, hey, we're going to be able to plug you in, and you're going to get some playing time now, and you're going to be able to make some plays. I don't hate this pick. As far as the coaching staff goes, I don't hate this.
I'm actually tempted to give it a D grade now. I was going to go C grade, but I'm going to go D grade now because I have Minka Fitzpatrick, Josh Jackson, and Dante Jackson graded ahead of Denzel Ward.
So I don't hate it. Well, I don't love it because I want somebody who's going to be a world beater right away, which Ward probably isn't. But I don't hate it. There's no way I can hate somebody with that type of upside.
No,
Ohio State player. I mean, obviously, Chris and I had talked about it before, and I told that he probably one of the best playmakers in the draft. And at one point, I had him probably top 2 or 3 players in line. The only reason I cut him down was in the fight. But Joey, if I were you, I'd be so great now to be a player.
Nah, this is not a top 5 player. This is not a top 5 player.
I'm not upset about it. I'm not.
This is a horrible pick. You're basically taking Eli Apple in the top 5. That's basically what you're doing.
Eli Apple sucked. I mean,
He did.
I was not a fan of Eli Apple.
Neither was I.
I'm at least a fan of
Romero, let Joey finish.
I would have went Fitzpatrick. I mean, if you were going to draft so would I, Ryan. So would I. I agree. I agree with you, but as far as long-term potential goes, I think Ward is probably
Romero, let Braden talk.
any corner in this draft, but that is where you get Mayfield. That is, as you get Mayfield, that is he a guy who's going to be the guy that's definitely. Ward is going to be a guy who you develop.
Well, Rosen, I'm hearing that Adam Schefter told the Broncos they are taking Rosen. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't think.
But here's the thing, Chris. If he gets 3 if he gets 3 interceptions this year, then I'm looking at the Browns had a problem getting turnovers. So I would say, okay, he got 3 interceptions and got 15 pass breakups.
This is just an awful start by the Browns. And I believe that Josh Rosen is going to be the pick here.
But Fitzpatrick could have gave you more than that year 1. And Fitzpatrick will probably end up being a better player overall throughout his career. Maybe not. You have to remember.
Joey, stop being homeristic about this pick. It is a reach. It is an awful pick. This is the worst decision I've seen since the Bengals reached for John Ross.
Denver's pick is in. Denver's going Josh Rosen.
I believe they are too. Gary Jones, a friend of mine on NPL on Facebook, said that Adam Schefter reported that Rosen is the pick.
That one was no doubt a pick for Denver.
That would be the first A+ grade. Oh boy, Heel Lawson said the pick is Josh Allen. So I don't know what. That would be horrible. Someone's saying Bradley Chubb. Bradley Chubb would not be a good pick. Eric Rosenthal. Ugh. Bradley Chubb is a 43 guy. He would be much better on a 34 team. I don't have a problem with Bradley Chubb in the top 5, but he'd be a much better fit on a 34 team. This feels like a wasted pick. He's great, but he's 275 pounds. He's a 43 guy. That is my issue with this pick. I'm going to give it an A- grade. It is a value pick. It's an awesome value pick. Probably the best player on the board, but doesn't fill that. So I'm going to get the Bradley Chubb thing ready to go.
Thank you. I do want to thank your Denver Broncos there, Mr. Romero, because I didn't want to see him in Tampa.
He could have gone to Indy. He would have worked there.
Tampa Bay can have good games. I don't know. ruin your draft, Ryan?
Hold on a second. I'm watching it right now. I'm watching it live. I think they're going to be pretty special.
There you have it. The Broncos are going with the Steelers route. The big pass rushers. Bradley Chubb.
I mean, I'm okay with the pick. I'm not.
I gave it a B grade. And if the Colts had taken Bradley Chubb, A+ grade. If the Browns had taken Bradley Chubb, that would have gotten an A-. Bradley Chubb is just a better fit for a 43 defense. So if the Browns had taken Bradley Chubb, that would have gotten a much higher grade than Denzel Ward. This is a B grade for Denver. Braden, thoughts on this pick? I gave it a B grade. It's a solid pick. It's better than what the Browns did with Denzel Ward at 4.
Well, at least Chubb didn't go to the Browns and ruin Joey's. Yeah, I would not have been a fan of that. You can get depth, you can get good pass rushers through the first 5-6 rounds of the draft. So, I think kind of now, you tell me something. As a former offensive tackle, I'm telling you, as a former left tackle, if I see somebody like Bradley Chubb, athletic, coming at me full speed from a rush linebacker position, I'm saying, oh shit. Okay, that's what I'm saying, because he is, you need to develop moves. He's got some great East ones, but he needs to develop more. But athletically, if I'm a left tackle and I see him coming at me full speed as a rush linebacker, I'm saying, oh shit. Period. So, in that regard, I think it was a great pick for the Broncos. He's going to bring an instant threat to the team.
Well, I mean, honestly, I'm not.
And Roquan Smith is who I'm guessing the Colts are going to take. Roquan Smith, this will probably be the first A+ grade if it is Roquan Smith. Minka would also get a high grade, but I think Roquan would be the quintessential A. I don't even know if I could give Roquan an A+ grade because I have him as the 9th player on my draft game. And okay, I've got the 6th pick. I'm not going to leak it, but I do have it. And it is nope. It's actually the guy the Broncos probably should have took at 5. Well, Oren got it.
Well, they had to get Lux some help eventually.
Tony Mario basically said that the Colts' offensive line is about as reliable as Lee Harvey, as reliable as the Secret Service under John F. Kennedy. That's how reliable Andrew Luck's offensive line is. It's about as reliable as the Secret Service under John F. Kennedy. And Quentin Nelson changes that.
Management was calling him for a sponsorship. I'll tell you what. Quentin Nelson would be the greatest thing that would happen to Andrew Luck.
I think.
Yeah, he needs him left. Best thing that could happen to Andrew Luck, potentially the best player in this draft at offensive guard. This guy can do it all. Power, speed, agility, pass block, run block. He can probably play both guard positions, both offensive tackle positions. I mean, this guy is the best offensive lineman we have seen in years. I think the Colts
This is going to be the second A+ grade of the night. I have Saquon Barkley to the Giants at 2. I gave that an A+ grade. I think you could argue that this is an A grade instead of an A+ grade simply because Roquan would have been a more of an immediate need, and they got 3 guards in free agency, but I cannot fault this pick. I have Nelson at 8 on my draft game and Roquan Smith at 9, so I will give the Colts the benefit of the doubt and give them an A+ grade here.
Yeah, how can you not give them an A+ grade? They had the worst offensive line in the league last year. I mean, I felt right to you.
Okay, we got 6 bucks on the clock right now.
I am guessing this pick is going to be Derwin James.
Forward to that pick, number 7. You think they get Derwin James or Fitzpatrick?
I think they go Derwin here. I don't know. I'm not confident, but I think they go Derwin here.
I would honestly say they would go Fitzpatrick here because they need a safety, but you can always fill in at corner as well.
Yeah, and I am going to upload the picks 1 through 6 in the live draft results page. Picks 1 through 6 from our live draft results page. I'm surprised that we have not seen a trade yet. I mean, Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold are the only quarterbacks off the board at this point. But Tampa has no interest in trading this pick. If there's a trade, it's going to be at 8 or 9. Oh, I do have something. I do have something. We may have a trade at 7 here. I may have spoke too soon. We may actually have a trade here. Verified Twitter Charles and Buccaneers are expected to make a deal here at 7. So I was not expecting Tampa Bay's front office to be smart enough to trade the pick. I figured their front office was literally like the dinner of schmucks, and I can confirm now from multiple sources that Buffalo will indeed be picking at 7 now. 24/7 Sports has tweeted it. So the Buffalo Bills are on the clock, folks.
The chosen Rosen.
I hope they get Josh Allen. I will not give him an F grade because Josh Allen fell out of the top 5. It's like if Josh Allen goes top 5, that's an F grade. If Josh Allen goes top 10, it's a D grade. It's still a reach. And Rosen, I can't even give Rosen an A+ grade if that's who they end up getting here. But they can get – the Bills are the ideal partner for Tampa Bay. They can get Derwin James at 12. I just don't know what Buffalo got in return yet on this trade, but I'm fairly certain this pick will be a quarterback.
Yeah, I'm going to say Rosen.
They still haven't announced a draft this year.
And Rosen is there. The camera's leaning towards Rosen. So I would say it's Rosen simply because the NFL Network camera is pointing to Rosen. And we need to still get the conditions for this trade here at number 7.
If I had to guess, I bet you still trade up to Josh Allen. No, it's not Rosen. It's Josh Allen out of Wyoming.
If it's Josh Allen, that is an F. It's a D grade.
Rosen or Adams. I'll put my money on Rosen at this point.
I will bet a boxing match.
I've heard the Bills want Adams, but I'm
Rosen's better than Allen. And we need to know what they gave up. Rosen's the top player on my draft game right now at number 3 overall. He's still there. I have Josh Allen at 12. There's a huge curve.
And as always, I am live here from Descados for the NFL draft. And we have bartender Cody doing the wee-hoo, or whatever the fuck he's doing. But he is wearing his Hawaiian variety shirt with the world's name on the front. Let me give you the Bills trading 2 second-round picks up to the fucking spot.
So how many? What are they keeping? 12 and 22, or did they give up? So the Buccaneers are out of round 1, and the Bills still have both first rounders. If the Tampa Bay does have 12. 12 is Tampa Bay's pick. According to the trade ticker on NFL Network, Tampa Bay does own number 12, but it's 12 and 2 second rounders, I believe. But the Buffalo Bills number 12 pick is now Tampa Bay's pick.
I hope it's Josh Allen because he's going to prove you guys wrong.
It's a D grade for me. Not an F grade, but it's a D grade because
Josh Allen is the pick.
and they got
the
and Thomas Coburn's like, yes, and Mark Suba is pulling his hair out. Mark Suba is so pissed that he's pulling his hair out as we speak at Mario's, folks.
Matured extremely late in life. He's still maturing emotionally, but he's got talent that he threw the ball from his knees from the 50-yard line through the uprights.
This is a horrible pick for Buffalo. This is going to be a D grade for me.
One of the best picks they could have gotten.
Ryan, it's not. This is a reach. Josh Rosen is vastly superior on tape compared to Josh Allen. And when I say vastly superior, he is vastly superior. It's the most Bills pick ever, as Oren said.
Clearly, for those of you who actually paid attention when you guys said, oh no, Josh Rosen's attitude doesn't matter that much. Yeah, apparently I was...
Well, Josh Rosen is better at making progressions. He's better on the field. He's better on tape than Josh Allen. Josh Allen is a suck-up.
He's going to end up being an off-field distraction because he's back.
The thing you have to remember about Allen, above all other things, his biggest weakness is on anything he does.
And I mocked Josh Allen to Buffalo, so I was correct.
He believes that his arm strength will get him out of any problem, out of any situation.
His footwork is sloppy too.
Because he believes he can just take his time and do whatever he wants. Because his arm strength, he will throw the ball through a building.
Joey's right. The arrogance is there.
That's the first thing any coaching staff needs.
The Chicago Bears are on the clock anyway, guys out there that are listening to our show. And we don't want to make you quiet, man, but we'll see what's next. So looks like Juan Smith might fall off the board here. We got to see about that.
At this point, Roquan Smith is an A+ no matter what team he goes to.
Yeah.
Minka Fitzpatrick, those two guys.
And Rosen. Rosen as well, unless a team gives up a ransom of picks and trades up. But
Braden, what do you think about the Josh Allen pick? Is Braden still with us?
Braden has another draft he had to get to.
Okay. So it's just me, you, and Ryan,
and Oren and John.
Well, Oren's probably off drinking somewhere, waiting for the Raiders pick. He'll probably come back in when the Raiders.
He's still here, Joey. He can hear you.
I can hear you, so don't, it's time to get it over.
Hey, it's like, I remember last year when Oren the call was very interesting. So, I mean, I'm not going to take up. I mean, we had some good ratings during that period.
So Tampa Bay got 53, 56, and 12 for this pick.
So the pick itself, I thought it was a good trade for both teams. The trade was incredibly fair, incredibly.
I mean, if you look at the value, it's a C grade. It's a C grade from a value standpoint, Josh Allen. But when you consider what the Bills gave up to Tampa Bay, it's a D grade. Thank you, Warren. I'm going to get that up right now, and that is an A+ grade. Roquan to Chicago is an A+ grade.
Are they going to take the first receiver, or are they going to take Roquan Smith? They take Roquan Smith. That's the pick.
Yeah, I'm already typing it in on the page. Just getting the grades caught up here because I want to be caught up on these picks. I trust Oren on this one here. I just trust Oren on this one here. Okay? Nelson's off the board. Who else could it be?
And potentially the best linebacker in the NFL in time. He's that type of difference maker. He'll be able to make a difference right away. So they'll be able to plug him in, play him, sideline to sideline, tackling ability, coverage ability. He is the main reason why those quarterbacks that Georgia was playing had so much trouble, especially during the playoffs, because Roquan Smith locked shit down.
Yeah, so far, this is my third A+ grade, and basically, Cowpote said that the Browns and the Bills are the biggest losers of the draft so far, and I agree with that statement entirely. I think the Giants, the Bears, and the Colts are the biggest winners so far.
I think they take the pick right here. I think, where do you think the 49ers are going to go, guys? Fitzpatrick.
I don't know. They might go with they might take Edmonds here, or they might trade the pick. I think we're going to get a trade here at number 9.
I know we were talking about it, but Roger Goodell just announced it. We had to
I think the Niners and Patriots could make a trade at 9 here with Josh Rosen still on the board, because you look at the Cardinals.
Rosen is on the board,
The
but
Cardinals are the Cardinals are going to get Josh Rosen at 15 unless the Niners move this pick. And the Niners don't want Josh Rosen in the same division. They also don't want to keep number 9. So them trading with the Patriots makes complete sense here. It really does. I know you don't want that as an NFL fan, but logistically, that is what makes sense here. You have to look at things logistically. So, Roquan, I think the Niners are going to move this pick.
The 49ers are about to take Mike McGlinchey.
Hold on. Let me see that. I have not been typing some of these picks because I've been working on the draft game and working on some other things, typing grades up. I got to see this Mike McGlinchey thing before I believe it, because they already have Trent Brown and Joe Staley. So I've got to see this before. I don't buy the McGlinchey thing at all.
Not official.
It's not official. So yeah, this is a perfect opportunity to refresh the page, post the picks, and quickly take you guys through some of the things going on in our live hangout here. We've got grades for the first 8 selections, and right now the big winners are the Colts, the Giants, and the Chicago Bears, for me anyway. So those are easily the big winners so far. The Browns and the Bills have both gotten off to bad starts. I mean, Baker could be the guy at quarterback, but Denzel Ward at 4, that was an awful pick. But it's in the past. We got to focus on the Niners here at 9, and
are at a commercial break here at Desgato. So, Chris, what is? I mean, you started, but I see nothing else since.
I'm promoting the NFL draft grades page on Twitter, and because it's a commercial.
A little bit of a rundown. 3 quarterbacks taken.
Okay, I do have a pick here.
Is the pick for the 49ers then?
I think it's Minka. Bill Cosby said that it's Minka.
It has to be a defensive back. I have to believe it's a defensive back.
2 people are saying it's Minka. So I don't know if that's official yet, but I am hearing Bones the Haunted has said it's Edmonds. So they are not trading the pick.
No, they're not trading the pick. The 49ers.
They are making this selection. But with the top 2 linebackers off the board, are the Raiders going to take Minka, or are they going to actually trade this pick? Because I honestly think a trade could be coming. Another trade could be coming soon, because it's looking like the way this is going so far, the Patriots might get Lamar at 23 and Rosen might fall to Cardinals. The way this is looking so far. Whether I agree with that or not is irrelevant, because I'm hearing McGlinchey and Edmonds.
49ers take Mike McGlinchey with a nice pick.
2 people are saying McGlinchey, 2 are saying Edmonds. And look at Josh Rosen. He is more miserable than Bo Callahan having to wait this point in the draft.
Now, this is the pick. Now, I want you guys to think of this. The last time I saw that look on a green room quarterback face was Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
So what's that going to mean for Rosen? Is that going to affect his mentality going into it when he does get drafted with the team that does draft him?
Well, they can groom him behind Joe Thomas. They already have 2 good offensive tackles.
The 49ers did select Mike McGlinchey.
I said that 20 minutes ago.
They already have a good right tackle and a good left tackle. So they can groom him behind Joe Staley, and it'll work.
I thought you were shitting me. That is no. I mean, that you would think that they have the 2 tackles ready to go.
They have Joe Staley and Trent Brown, who really made progress last year.
I'm looking at that. Staley is older, but the guy who's ready to plug and play. So what's that mean for Staley at this point?
Joey, we had McGlinchey come to Atlanta for a tryout, and we told him that he would be playing guard this year. So, I mean, maybe the 49ers have a plan of playing him for guard.
I'm probably going to give this a B grade.
Here we go. Rating Arizona Cardinals. This is Rappaport. Active war room, including getting calls from Arizona Cardinals. All right, guys. It is Oren Shiri's pick up. Okay. The Raiders. Oren Shiri, are you on the call and ready to go? Oh, I'm ready. Oh, he's ready. He's ready. But they're on the phone with the Arizona Cardinals.
They could be. I think it's either Minka or Vita Vea, because Tony Mario told me before the draft that the Raiders will have 3 players: Minka, Roquan, Vita Vea.
Noticed that Troy Aikman's skin starting to hang off his bones. That's what happens when you get old.
I almost put the Mike McGlinchey pick where the Raiders were picking. That would have been a disaster. I'm just glad I averted that.
Yeah, Vita Vea would make sense, I guess, at this pick. Patrick, no.
The Cardinals have gotten number 10, and they are expected to take Josh Rosen at 10.
Yes.
So the Raiders are moving down to 15.
Unbelievable. Well, the question is, what did the Raiders get for this? Because I think that, this could be a good pick, because everybody that the Raiders on, you get 16, you get more options, you get better trade value. But what did they get for the Arizona Cardinals to move up? Because Arizona loves Josh Rosen. It was said earlier in the day that the Cardinals would try to get Josh Rosen at any cost. So what did the Cardinals get? And will the Cardinals take Rosen?
I mean, what did the Arizona Cardinals get? Josh Rosen being number 3 on our draft game, still on the board. The question is, what did they give up? I'm not giving this an A+ grade if they gave up a 2019 first-round pick as well. I will
give it an A grade if the Cardinals take Rosen. I heard that they're happy with Bradford, but that's this year. What happens after this year?
They also have Mike Glennon as a backup.
Bradford gets hurt. You've got Rosen. He's ready to go. He's in the pocket. If they get Rosen, it is an A grade.
I agree with that.
Anybody else, I have to question it.
Yeah, it's an A grade regardless because the value is just that good at this point.
I mean, not only value, but you need this guy. You can't pass up on a franchise future quarterback. And Rosen is the best pure passer in this draft, hands down.
Yeah, absolutely. When was the last time the Cardinals had a quarterback like that was a great pure passer? Kurt Warner.
Exactly.
Kurt Warner. And look what he did for that Cardinals team. They went to the Super Bowl, I believe.
They were playoff
with Kurt Warner.
Yeah, they were a playoff team every year he was there.
Okay, a Bleacher Report writer has confirmed that Josh Rosen is in fact the number 10 pick.
Bradford's knee's probably going to go out by week 6. But you get him, and it's on. It's on. I mean, the Cardinals are back in contention.
Okay, Raiders get the 15, 79, and 162.
Okay, that's
a pretty nice haul.
a nice return.
Yeah, that's a nice haul for the
They got a
Raiders.
3rd and a 5th round pick from Arizona for this pick, and the Cardinals kept their 2nd round pick. So that's actually a great trade, and I agree with Joey. That's an A grade. There is a temptation to give this an A+ grade, but considering Rosen's not my QB1, I can't do that. I'm going to go with an A grade for the Cardinals for Josh Rosen here at number 10.
Now, from what I said earlier, I will make it clear. I was always a huge fan of Carson Palmer. I love Carson Palmer. I thought he was great, but in the last year or two, he was showing his age. He declined. And so right now, you can't have, you can't get an aging quarterback and expect him to play 5, 6, 7 years. So, I mean, so when I say Warner, I mean who led them to the most success from the pocket, and that has to be Warner. Palmer, they got him. He was already on the decline a little bit. So we have to look at Rosen here. The only choice if the Cardinals want to be relevant going forward.
Yeah, and I don't see them taking Lamar Jackson over Rosen. That would just trigger their fan base.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I mean, the only QB on the board is Lamar Jackson, and all the teams that needed QBs moved up. So it would have to take a team like the Giants or Denver to move ahead of New England and give up a 2019 first-round pick.
They're not taking Mason Rudolph number 1 overall. They're not taking him number 10 overall. They're not taking him number 100 overall.
I think they will go in the top 100. I have them going to Pittsburgh at 92 in the 3rd round.
Not Ryan. But I was trying to rattle Ryan straight. I think it's a pretty consensus pick that we all believe the chosen Rosen.
Yeah, but like the Rosen, think about the NFC West for a second. Now you have Russell Wilson, Jimmy Garoppolo, Jared Goff, and Josh Rosen in the same division. The NFC West just got that much better, folks.
Josh Rosen, the pick. Josh Rosen, wonderful pick for the Cardinals. Easy.
Minka is the best player on the board, but the Dolphins don't need a safety, so I'm looking at Edmonds and I'm looking at Payne.
This year officially, so I mean, I'm looking at A at least, potentially A plus for the system that he's going to. Fits his talent perfectly.
A grade, absolutely, absolutely, and that's an A grade, no doubt. There is a temptation to give it an A plus, but I'm not, yeah. So none of the QBs got A plus grades, but I love this fit for Arizona, getting Josh Rosen here.
I just don't see it. He's killing quarterback, and I think he'll be glad you got that far from home. Larry Fitzgerald. At least for that remainder of his year.
All right, so far in the top 10, I think Saquon Barkley is the only pick that I have correctly predicted as far as the top 10 talent goes. This is the second time since 2013 where I missed on the number 1 pick. You look at Tony Mario, I think he has the most picks correct. He did have he had Josh Rosen and Darnold. He had Bradley Chubb to the Giants at 2. That did not happen. But he had Saquon to the Browns at 4. That also did not happen. I think Tony actually called Nelson to the Colts, though. So that's the only pick he was right about so far. And Mark has 2 picks correctly with Darnold and not Darnold. He had Barkley the Giants and Nelson at 2, and he had the Raiders getting Denzel Ward. So Mark is in the lead among our staff of writers, but we'll see what happens here. If you count the fact that I had Josh Allen and the Bills at 12 before they traded up for him, I technically have 2 picks as well. But Joey's going to give the tiebreaker to Mark to make me suffer.
Could Minka still slip a little bit, you think?
Minka could still slip. You're right. And I am going to show our audience some of the draft grades. I've been focused a little bit more on the game and typing the grades, but we gave Denver a B grade for Bradley Chubb. There's a lot of picks. I think the Colts, the Bears, and the well,
everybody.
If you're watching the draft on Fox, there are subtitles, and there are subtitles if you're watching the draft on Fox, and those subtitles include Joe Buck voiceovers or Colin Cowherd voiceovers. You can go in your screen and click on subtitles, and you can listen to Joe Buck or Colin Cowherd break down every pick in this draft. That was a joke, but yeah.
I'd rather listen to us.
Same here, John. They put I'm ready for a bong here, like because of the Laramie Tunsil thing. This might be the first
I
pick.
already did one for the Josh Allen pick. That was horrific.
Yep.
Yeah. So the next bad pick, I didn't think the Bradley Chubb pick was bad, man. I gave that one an A grade.
Okay, I got you the pick here from the Dolphins.
It's Minka Fitzpatrick, the top player on the draft game. It's almost like the Dolphins said, you know what? We don't need a safety, but Minka's the top player on the draft game, so we're going to take him. Our fans will not bitch about that.
Yeah, Tom Brady's going to hate that pick.
Yep.
See, now, if Atlanta would have traded up, I wouldn't have minded getting a guy like Fitzpatrick.
I know Mark's going to say A+ grade, but I am not going to give this an A+ grade. I'm going to give it an A grade simply because it's a great pick from a value standpoint, but Miami set at safety.
He can play corner.
But they're set at corner too. Secondary is a strength for Miami. That's the thing. They needed front seven help. They didn't get it.
The rich get richer.
So I'm giving it a A grade instead of an A+ grade for that reason. It's the best value on the board, but it doesn't fill a need.
When it should be an A, that means it should be a B. Just don't, got to be a little bit tight on these grades. If you don't like it, you don't like it.
It's the best player on the board from a value standpoint, but it's not a need.
Top 5 talent.
Yeah, it's a top 5 talent. That's why it's an A grade. It doesn't fill a need, but it's a top 5 talent falling to you at 11. So that's an A grade from a value standpoint.
He's like a poor man's Deion Sanders. That's an A+.
I'm giving it an A grade.
You got him outside the top 10.
I have him at number 4 on my draft game. He fell to 11.
A+.
Yeah, I'd give him an A for sure. That's for
An
sure.
A, not an A+. It's an A from an A+ value, but a B+ from a need. I'm averaging it to an A. Simply because it's not a need.
In the second and third. Don't give me that.
They need a linebacker. They need a defensive tackle. They are set at safety and corner. They did not need Minka, but he's the best player on the board, so you can't really fault the
They
pick.
can get those guys in the second and third round. They'll be fine.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Their front seven's still suspect. They didn't do anything to change that.
What game changer were they going to get at pass rusher at 11 right now?
They got Robert Quinn in a trade. They didn't need a pass rusher. They needed a defensive tackle to replace someone like Villa or Duron Payne or a middle linebacker to replace Lawrence Timmons. They didn't address that. Their front seven's still suspect.
Yeah, maybe that other trade that the Tampa got from Cincinnati earlier, but just we didn't really.
And they're probably going to take Derwin James here because he's the top player on my draft game at this point, and they love him. They love him, so they're thrilled that they can get him. They might try to move this pick down with the Patriots. I could see it. If the Patriots wanted Lamar Jackson, they could move this pick, but I don't think the Patriots are going to move down. I think, if anything, a team's going to have to move up ahead of the Patriots just to keep Lamar Jackson from going to them. And I could even see Buffalo trading 22 to keep the Patriots from getting Lamar. I think that's where Lamar's going to come off the board. I think someone's going to move up to 22 and take him there. Whether it's the Giants or the Broncos, someone's going to move up to 22 and take Lamar. Because I don't see any QB market-needy teams outside the Chargers who Mark predicted would get Lamar Jackson in his mock. So, I mean, outside the Chargers, there really isn't a team that can keep the Patriots from Lamar Jackson. Just the way the draft has played out so far. That's the thing with me.
Yeah, I wouldn't be happy if that happens.
Okay, let's go here and see who the guy is.
It's probably Derwin. It's probably Derwin. I'm fairly confident it's Derwin.
Yeah, 100% Derwin James.
Yeah, I'm already.
Okay, then. Here we go.
Tampa Bay loves Derwin James. Tony Mario told me they love this guy. So I'm going to say that it is Derwin James, and I'm actually going to mock him because Washington needs a safety too. And if they pass on Derwin James, Washington will just snag him at 13 here.
My dark horse, though, would be Marcus Davenport because I could see them going pass rush.
They got Vinny Curry and Jason Pierre-Paul. I don't think they're getting a pass rusher here.
It's Tampa Bay, man. Believe me. I've seen these guys do some crazy shit.
Let's see what the Buccaneers.
Vida is going to be the pick, folks.
Are you kidding me? Vita Villa, not even the best defensive tackle on the board.
They do some crazy shit in Tampa. They already have 2 D tackles.
No, they only have 1. They have Gerald McCoy, and they lost their other 2 defensive tackles.
I haven't got that from a reliable source, so don't listen to me yet. Yes, go in. Vida Villa is
Derwin James.
Yes, Villa is the pick.
Okay, Vita Villa is the selection. And that was just – I don't even think he's the best defensive tackle on the board. So I'm probably going to give this a B grade. It's a solid pick. They need defensive tackle help badly. I might even give it a B+ grade. But, nah, I'm going to give it a B grade. I'm going to be fair, and I'm going to give it a B grade because they need defensive tackle help badly. But I don't think Vita Villa is quite the player they think he's going to be.
Yeah. So we'll see how that turns out. He's a big guy. He's probably one of the biggest in this draft. And he played a pretty good role in the Pac-12, so I do see him taking control and moving that to press the front a little bit better. But, remember, guys, they traded out and they did get a good selection here.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely filled the need. I mean, they could have went around Payne, and I don't think anybody else would have been disappointed. But, I mean, yeah, there's no need to complain with the pick. I think it's great for Tampa Bay, bad for my Falcons. But, it is what it is. Good for them.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a B grade. It's a solid pick, but it's a reach, in my opinion.
Redskins are on the clock.
And they're going to take Derwin James and capitalize off the idiocy of the Buccaneers. Or maybe they'll take Deron Payne, but Vita Villa to Tampa, this feels like a reach here at 12.
If they take Deron Payne, I'm really going to cry.
Oh, jeez, you guys are so emotional here.
Yep.
I want him in Atlanta.
Anybody, if you see you think the Patriots are going to wait and sit and get a quarterback?
I don't know yet. I really don't know what they're going to do here. But the Buccaneers, they moved down for Vita Villa. I think it's a reach in my opinion, but it's not a terrible pick. It's a better pick than Josh Allen at 7. I can say that much.
Well, thanks for your input, Chris. I actually think it is a good pick, man. I mean, it kind of makes me mad now that they have 2 good D tackles again.
Yeah, but Ryan doesn't like the Villa as much as Payne, and I'm in complete agreement with Ryan on that assessment that Payne is a better.
Villa can eat 3 pounds of lasagna compared to Ryan's 1. That's why you don't like Vita Villa.
Well, Vita Villa might be a 4-down player like Lisa said, but Vita Villa might also be a 2-down player like I said. That's the big question mark. That's the big question mark with Vita Villa, Joey, and that's why it's a B grade.
I'm sorry, I did take one pick off. I had to pee. But Vita Villa is a guy, you put him beside the rest of that defensive line.
Wow,
and it's going to get scary.
Tremaine Edmonds, we forgot about him. He's going to be the pick to the Redskins right here, folks.
Edmonds is an athletic freak, okay? Yeah. That guy will play any linebacker position, and he will put a hat on.
But Washington's already got 2 linebackers under contract, so they can take their time and develop Edmonds this year and then start him next season. That's why. And Derwin fills more of a need, so it's.
Here's an interesting scenario for Edmonds. You put him, he's athletic. He's almost as athletic as a corner. Put him on special teams and say, you're a headhunter. Could you imagine a punt returner being Edmonds staring them down? How would that look?
Oh, he'll be a special teamer, that's for sure. He played at Virginia Tech, man, and that's their bread and butter there. I mean, but he could be a day 1 starter, that's for sure. I mean, he's 5'6", and he runs a 4.44, 4.5.
Absolutely, day 1 playmaker.
Yep, and the Vita Villa grade is up. I'm just double checking. Okay, so Vita Villa is off the board here. And I'm going to
remember the thing with Tremaine Edmonds is he can't even legally drink a beer yet. I don't think he's 21 yet.
Yeah, he turns 20, and there's no, well, it hasn't been official yet, but the top picks for Miami and.
It's not official. They actually it's coming up. Hasn't come up yet. Their pick. I just said we forgot about him because he could be a fit here. That's all I said.
Derwin James is the most logical pick here, and if he's the pick that Washington gets, this is easily an A+ grade for me. Derwin's the only A. Edmonds and Payne will be A grades for me, but.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Tracy Porter is really interested in this selection. I know he wants to round.
Well, just thinking Derwin James, Tremaine Edmonds, and Deron Payne. Those are the three first choices. All something right now. Here we go.
Yeah, those are easily the three best players.
Right. The third name is done. The third thing. The dimension seconds. I don't see any reliable sources of yet.
You guys are all reliable, of course. Maybe my Balkans are making a trade with Washington.
So we got grades for Minkah Fitzpatrick and Vita Vea, folks, as well as some of these other top 10 grades. I'm just showing our audience here the A grade for Rosen, B grade McGlinchey, just showing our audience. And I did make a typo with the Roquan Smith pick, so I'm going to go back into the draft game and edit it. I'm going to go back into the draft results page, and we'll redirect you guys to the draft game for a few minutes while I go in and fix that error of code. So Derwin. Oh, this is a great pick. I'm going to give this an A grade because I love the pick, but
It was Payne. Whoever ended up saying Edmonds is a fucking loser.
Oren said Edmonds.
I didn't say he's going to be Edmonds. I just said don't forget that I said he's still there on the board.
Yep, and Deron Payne goes to Washington as a nose tackle at number 13. And Derwin James is still on the board here. So if you're the Packers, yes, you need a corner. Yes, you definitely could use someone like Josh Jackson. But can you really pass on Derwin James with HaHa Clinton Dix in a contract year? If you don't want to re-sign HaHa Clinton Dix, why not upgrade and take Derwin James and then get your number one corner in round 2? Because it's a deep cornerback class.
Well, Payne was a great pick for the Redskins. I love it. I love that they're getting that inside presence again. As far as James with the Packers, let's hope they take him because I do not want to. I was just talking with a Packers fan in here, and I really don't want to face Lisa if they go with a player of lesser caliber than me.
Oh, if they take Tony Mario thinks if they take Davenport here that they're going to switch to a 34, and the Saints have moved up to number 14. And I bet I know what this is for, Lamar Jackson. The Saints are now on the clock at 14.
Yes, I told you to watch.
Or it's Oren. The Raiders are on deck. Oren's second team is on the clock. So it's Oren's time. It's Oren's time, folks.
We're going to get Lamar Jackson. He's going to be the incumbent of the great Drew Brees, and this is going to be something special to watch in the next couple of years.
I'm guessing the Packers got a first-round pick in 2019 because the Saints, there's no way they make the jump from 27 to 14 unless they're giving up a first-rounder in next year's draft. If the Saints got those, if the Saints got this pick without giving up a first rounder, it's an A+.
Listen to this, you don't want to know. I'm going to put my friend in my pocket. he's a plane, isn't he?
Okay, here we go. The Saints have given up 27, 147, and a 2019 first rounder to the Packers. So the Packers do have a first rounder in next year's draft now. That is official.
That's a hell of a deal for the Packers.
Okay, can you give me that trade again?
The Saints do not have a first rounder in 2019, and they do not have a second rounder in this year's draft. Thanks for playing, Oren.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I love this game. Both of the teams that I like, I traded already.
Yeah.
Winter is coming.
So the Packers will have 2 first-round picks in 2019, and they need those picks that year because look at the guys who are under contract until 2019. Jordy Nelson's gone, but Randall Cobb's in a contract year. So is Clay Matthews. So is Jake Ryan. So is Clinton Dix. And Aaron Rodgers' contract runs through 2020. They're probably going to have to re-sign him in 2019 as well. So they need 2 first-round picks next year. They need this. They really do, Joey. As much as you don't want to admit it, you know it's the truth.
I'm like all behind here.
I'm trying to find the Daron Payne pick that I put on the mock draft and copy that to the Washington pick at 13. But New Orleans is going to be picking at 14 here, and Green Bay is going to be picking at 27. And they're going to get a first rounder next year's draft. So if the Saints move up, I am going to criticize the pick because I think I have Lamar at 15. To take him at 14 and to give up a first rounder for him is a huge gamble on their end. It could pay off, but it also feels like a reach. The Saints could also be moving up for Davenport or Harold Landry. There's a lot of different possibilities. They might even be moving up for Edmonds here. They need a linebacker, but I think it's Lamar. It just has to be. Why else would they make this deal?
It has to be a quarterback.
It has to be Lamar. Tremaine Edmonds. It could be Edmonds. If it's not Lamar, it's going to be Edmonds. That's what I'm hearing.
We can hear her voice.
Yeah. I feel like the Raiders might just take Edmonds or Derwin James here. I could see them going either one. So, yeah, I mean, the Packers getting that pick, the Saints getting that pick from Green Bay is huge. And I think it's either Lamar Jackson or Tremaine Edmonds. I don't think anyone else is in play. The Saints are pretty set at safety for the most part. They really don't need a safety here. I think it's either Edmonds or Lamar Jackson. I can't see anyone else. If they do not take a quarterback here, the fans in New Orleans are going to revolt. The Saints fans are going to revolt.
Yeah, you don't give up a first rounder for another pick.
And the Saints wanted Mahomes last year. They didn't get him. So they're doing their due diligence. They're trying to move up.
And remember, their owner has passed away. This is a new generation. It's going to be a quarterback.
Ooh! It's not a quarterback, apparently. Davenport's the pick. Marcus Davenport, edge, UTSA is the pick. Yeah. Davenport at 14. They do need a pass rusher next to Cameron Jordan, but to give him a first rounder next year's draft and have to wait until 2020 to get your quarterback of the future, that is a huge gamble. And for me, that's why this pick is a C grade if that is the pick. I do like Davenport. He's my top-ranked outside linebacker, but to take him at 14 here when you need a quarterback behind Drew Brees feels irresponsible. Unless the Saints have plans at 91 to get Kyle Lauletta, like in my mock, this is an irresponsible decision.
Yes, we are back inside.
Yep, it is Davenport, according to the things here, multiple people. Davenport, the Saints gave up the Packers a first-round pick in next year's draft for Marcus Davenport, who I mocked the Saints at 27. How do you feel about that? Lisa is so happy. Lisa is happy that the Packers rickrolled the Saints, and that's the term she used. They rickrolled the Saints. They went Rick Astley on the Saints by getting them to trade first rounder next year's draft for Marcus Davenport.
Wow. That is amazing. Because for me, it's like they were saying it was going to be Jackson all day. And then it was all a ruse, all a smoke screen. They wanted Davenport. Raw, athletic, powerful, needs a lot of work, but can be great. He has the potential to have great career ahead of him. But
I'm sure the Patriots are breathing a huge sigh of relief that Lamar Jackson's still on the board. And I bet the Patriots actually move up. If the Raiders do not take Edmonds here, I could honestly see the Patriots moving up for Lamar Jackson, knowing that the Saints just got Davenport. They're kind of relieved that Lamar's still there, I bet. But Davenport off the board. And I did hear that if Lamar made it to 23, that would be the pick for New England. So I would not be surprised if the Patriots moved up for Lamar Jackson, because it's like, for a second, I'm sure the Patriots like, crap, we're not going to get our quarterback. But then it's like, phew. But they're also sort of disappointed Davenport's off the board.
That was the first huge swerve of the draft. Nobody saw that coming.
I had Davenport to the Saints in my mock draft at 27, so I'm giving myself another point.
Like 13 picks back. I mean,
I'm giving myself a point. I did the same thing last year when the Bears got Trubisky. I had him going to the Bears at 34. I gave myself a point.
You don't get to give yourself a point for being wrong.
I gave myself a point. If I correctly predict the team, it's a point. If I correctly predict the pick number, it's a point, even if they trade the pick. If I correctly predict the team and the pick number, it's multiple points. I'm right.
Oh, gosh. That's like me giving myself a point for drinking the wrong drink and having it go down the wrong pipe. It's like you don't get a point for that. It's going to be Derwin James. Okay, Ryan, I don't know why you're drumming, but that's not what we'll go with that. My name is Oren Shiri. Oh, sorry. Yeah, he's sorry, Oren. I'm used to Ryan doing things like drumming on and so on and so forth. Yeah, Ryan's almost crying, and he's not out calling.
Well, the Raiders don't need a safety. They need a linebacker more than a safety. So
I don't care. James is the best player available at this point. But I mean, James is. I mean, you could take Edmonds or James, and I would be happy.
yeah, it's like Edmonds is an A+.
Either one, Oren. I mean, that's a win for you.
Yeah. I think that's probably an A+ either way. I think you're right, Joey. I think Edmonds at that point is an A+.
I mean, look at the value. Both are upgrades.
Both are top 10 players on our draft game, and they're both still there at 15.
Either way you look at it.
Yeah, I think Edmonds fills more of a need, but you can argue that there's better value at that pick.
I don't think you can argue there's better value than either of those two at this point. those guys are, I mean, it wasn't too long ago, we were putting James in the top 8. And there were people putting the Virginia Tech linebacker in the top, Edmonds in the top 10.
Well,
So
interesting note with Derwin James. He turned down a private workout with Tampa Bay, so.
Oren, I know you love the pick for either one of these. And how do they fit?
Well, I think Derwin James, you got to build the secondary. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen to Conley. I think he got in trouble again. Now we got to fill in some kind of spot, move some of the stuff over there in the secondary. And he's going to make that have an impact right away. As far as Edmonds, I love what they saw. I said to myself, hey, if we don't get Rashawn Smith, this is the second best player that's going to make the linebacker core, which really, really needs work because they're going to move open to the end there at opposite end of Max. You don't have a strong linebacker anyway. It doesn't necessarily need to be the inside linebacker.
Ooh, you're not going to like this pick. Colton Miller, UCLA, the Raiders at 15 as a right tackle next to Donald Penn. I have him at 30.
What can I tell you?
At 32, not at 15, though. That is an awful value. I think Connor Williams is better than Colton Miller. So to get Colton Miller this early when some scouting services like Dane Brugler or
This one is really interesting with Colton Miller because Colton Miller he needs a little bit of strength. He needs to
improve his hand placement, and that's the big issue. It's the hand placement because
at the same time, his natural ability, his ability as a football player cannot be cheap. Right? And let's face it, one of the reasons Carr got injured is he didn't have somebody that could protect him from the outside. So I wouldn't give this as high a grade as I would for.
I'm going to give it a C+ grade because they.
Not argue that this is not a logical.
I'm going to give it a C+ grade, Joey. And the reason I'm going to go C+ is because Colton Miller, I have a late first-round grade on him, and Donald Penn missed all of OTAs, Joey. Donald Penn missed all of OTAs. And the Buffalo Bills have traded up to number 16. So they could be getting Calvin Ridley here, but the Ravens and Bills have just made a trade at 16.
Well, the Bills got a quarterback first, so let's not rule out Orlando Brown.
Or Calvin Ridley. Orlando Brown, they're not going to take Orlando Brown. He's not a first-rounder. Connor Williams out of Texas is a first-rounder. I have a second-round grade on Orlando Brown, and he's a guy I had mocked to the Raiders at this exact spot. I mean, I had him mocked to the Raiders in round 2. The Raiders could have got him in the second round, but they take Colton Miller. And I think part of the reason they took Colton Miller is because Donald Penn is injured, and they cannot go into next season with Breno Giancomi as the starting left tackle. So I think they took Miller for that reason. Donald Penn missed OTAs, Joey. That's why they Raiders reached here.
I'm happy. I really am. I think I heard they liked this guy. Actually, before the draft, I had rumors that there was going around that they really, really, really liked what they saw from him. It's not a bad pick. I mean, you do need a lineman there. You know, that was 35 years old. You know, come on. That wasn't going to last forever.
You're right, but this guy's a project, and some services have a fourth-round grade on him. That's my issue with the pick. It's like some people actually have a fourth-round grade on a guy. So to take an offensive tackle that some people have a fourth-round grade on is kind of ridiculous. But the Bills have just traded 22 and 65 to Baltimore for 16 and 154, the Ravens' fifth-round pick.
Here's the thing. I'm not going to take somebody. John Gruden and his staff are not going to take somebody that they had a fourth-round grade in the first round. There's a reason why they got it. It's not just they're reaching for someone.
So
here's the thing I want to remind you of, Chris. This is something that I really got me skeptical of some of the things that people are saying in the media. And this is the guy who's on the Raiders now. At least he was drafted by Seattle in round 1. round grade on him. Outside linebacker. Okay. Turned out pretty darn well. If you do,
Edmund.
you know.
They're saying it's either Edmonds or Ridley.
No. We're talking about the Raiders pick.
But the Bills' pick is in. They have moved up to 16 with the Ravens, and their pick is in.
We can't even talk, dude.
Their pick is on. Their pick is in. I'll get to my Bills and Ravens grades in a second. I gave the Raiders a C+, and I'm typing the code for the Bills pick at 16 before trade anarchy consumes us all. And the Bills get Tremaine Edmonds thanks to the Raiders.
Well, with Tremaine, I mean,
they traded up for him, so it's not an A+ grade. They traded up for him, so it's an A grade. They needed a middle linebacker, but why did they take this guy before Josh Allen? I mean, I think Buffalo's offensive line problems. This pick, they're going to hit on this pick. They're not going to hit on the Josh Allen pick, but they're going to hit on this pick. It's a great selection by the Buffalo Bills here.
Yeah, right now, Derwin James is the highest rated player left on the board.
And the Chargers need a safety. They need a safety in the worst way possible. So if they pass on Derwin James, it's an F grade for me. I don't care if they take Taven Bryan or whoever's on their board, whether it's Leighton Vander Esch. If they pass on Derwin, they are getting an F grade. I am striking lightning and I am striking vengeance on the Chargers.
Player on their board anyway. I mean, that's the question we should be asking at this point.
Like, if the Chargers need a safety and Derwin's the best player on the board by leaps and bounds, so if they pass on him, they are getting an F grade, and I am striking lightning on the Chargers like God. I'm going to strike lightning on the Chargers like God if they pass on Derwin James here. And they will not be a playoff team until they relocate to their new stadium in Los Angeles if they pass on Derwin James. I'm striking lightning on the Chargers right now as we speak.
So the entire fate of the Chargers franchise depends on drafting Derwin James.
Yes.
Nothing else matters.
Donald Trump has my permission to do whatever he wants with Qualcomm Stadium if the Chargers pass on Derwin James. He doesn't need my permission, but I'm just saying. That's how big of a mistake it would be for the Chargers to pass on him.
Oren, could you please bring some sanity to this? I don't know what's going on. That makes two of us. I'm just listening in here and enjoying myself because when we got cut off from our discussion, that's not completely fair, but that's okay. I'm dealing with it.
But the Bills moving up for Tremaine Edmonds.
This is, and now, people, I want everybody here to listen into this. This is the longest Oren and myself have ever gotten along, ever in our lives. So you are looking at a landmark moment.
It could be Lamar Jackson. The Chargers, Mark Suba mocked Lamar Jackson to the Chargers.
And once again, we get interrupted, Oren. I mean, this is a bonding moment here.
I mean, I'm trying to still get the Bills and the Ravens trade that was just there, and nobody actually went what they got.
I read what they got. I told you they got 22 and 65.
Now, we calmly walk back from in between the arches, back into the chaos, so everybody can hear.
I know everybody's still excited.
There are too many people in suits in this thing. We need more people with in Jaguars jerseys with alcohol in their hands. On the right side, there's still some pizza left. I think I'm hungry too. Well, my pizza's free. Oh, I'm at a bar. I'm eating. Thank you for sharing.
All right, so I've got that pick updated, and I've just got the code for the Raiders and Ravens picks up. So I'm going to get that up, and I'm going to, once I tweet the top 16 and go through these picks one last time, we're going to go straight to the draft results one page, and there's a lot of things I'm going to have to redo for that, but the Chargers are on the clock at 17, and this is the crux moment in the draft where I fall behind for a few picks and then I catch up. This is that crux moment in the draft where I usually All right, this is an ideal time for the top 5 on the board. Derwin James is the number 1 player on my board. Number 2, Josh Jackson. 3, Lamar Jackson. 4, Calvin Ridley. And 5, Harrison Phillips, who I mocked to the Chargers at 17. Oh, no, yeah, they're going Derwin. Apparently they are going Derwin James, according to Joe Mixon. But I don't know how reliable of a source Joe Mixon is in this context. So Ryan did hang up. He lost interest, but John, Oren, and myself are still here. So John, what are your thoughts on this top 16 so far? Nope. Derwin James. Multiple people are saying Derwin James. I guess the Chargers were paying attention to our draft special.
I'm caught up a little bit.
And the Chargers listened to us and did the smart thing and took Derwin James at 17. I'm probably going to get a Derwin James photo up and... So I saw that pre-draft outfit. I knew it was stylish. The Chargers addressed their biggest need here. And the best player on my board right now is Josh Jackson out of Iowa. But Lamar Jackson's number 2 player on my board, Calvin Ridley 3, Harrison Phillips at 4, and Dante Jackson, who's 18th on my board. They're all the top 5. So everyone in my top 13 is all gone. So everyone in my top 13 is all officially off the board. So I'm going to get a Derwin James photo. Derwin James, I just announced the pick, and it's an A+ pick. This is an A+ pick without a doubt. This is my 4th or 3rd A+ pick I've handed out today. I gave one of the Giants, I gave one of the Colts, and I gave one of the Chicago Bears. This will be A+ number 4 within the first 17 picks. And you really can't argue with the logic behind this pick.
I will tell you now, best suit of the night goes to Derwin James.
I think. Are we going to give? Oh, the Packers have just moved up to 18. The Packers
moving up
with Seattle. The Packers and Seattle have just made a trade, folks. And I am guessing they are taking Josh Jackson here at 18. they're going to – because Josh Jackson's the best player on our board, and they know Lisa will come down on them hard if they pass on Josh Jackson here.
Oren, I'm going to ask, who do you think the Packers take in this situation? Because everybody in the top 15 is gone. Who is the pick? I think they're going to surprise you with somebody we don't even think about.
Josh Jackson is the guy I hear they really like. If they take Leighton Vander Esch, Josh Jackson, Iowa.
Is there any chance they get Lamar Jackson here?
No, they don't need a quarterback.
I doubt that. But the Seahawks trade this pick. I mean, they do have the
Seattle. Oh, the Packers traded 27, a third-round pick, and a sixth-round pick. So the Packers keep 45. They keep their second-round pick, and they move up from 27 to 18 and keep their 2019 first-rounder.
I also realized by saying the thing about Kaiser that Lisa's going to punch me in the throat.
Or she'll make you drink Clorox again, which is just brutal. So the Saints pick has been transferred from Green Bay to Seattle now.
Do you have the details of the trade?
Yes, Joey, I do. I have the Packers only gave up a third-rounder and a fifth-rounder, and they kept the second-round pick at 45 and their first-rounder in 2019. So they moved up 9 spots, kept their second, and kept their 2019 first. You have to be really happy about that if you're a Packers fan.
Yeah, that's a great job as a Packers fan. Hell yeah.
They only gave up a third and sixth, so that is really, really good job. It looks like they're actually going to take Calvin Ridley or Jair. That's what they're saying. Might be Landry, but they're looking at those three. They gave up 27, 76, and 186 to get 18 and 248. So
I don't know. The thing is, though, with Jair, were the Packers one of those teams that gave him a red flag on his team? That's the question you have to ask when bringing Jair Alexander into the equation here.
it's looking like it's going to be Jair Alexander, who I have to the Browns in round 2. Could be another player.
Like my kid has said, a corner wide receiver. I would have to think Calvin Ridley in this situation.
Jeremy Dixon is saying the pick is Jair Alexander, who could be a steal if he pans out magically.
Yeah,
Josh Jackson, they're saying it's Josh Jackson. It could too. So I'm getting multiple reports for Josh Jackson, multiple reports for Jair Alexander. So it could be Jair. Okay, I'm getting multiple for Jair now. So
yeah, and Jair Alexander is the fit coach.
and they got a second round talent but I have an early second-round grade on. Most scouts have a late first-round grade on Jair, and they needed a corner.
So, Jair Alexander is that he healthy? When he is healthy, he is the best cover corner in this draft.
Yeah.
The problem is, will that knee hold up to a 16-game schedule?
I'm going to give this a B-plus grade.
So we will see how that works out.
I'm going to give it a B-plus grade. I think it's a slight reach, but it's a need, and it's a much better value pick than Denzel Ward at 4, in my opinion.
Well, it's something I love Alexander on tape. It's well documented. You can go back in multiple podcasts and see him praising him. The play is, I mean, he is a cover cornerback out of the, he's going to lock you down. The problem is he going to be able to stay healthy? Is that knee holding up? Because that is the big question. That's why he dropped to a second rounder for me. He is a top 12 talent when healthy.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Jonah Tolles has him in his top 5 overall.
That is a steal.
So I'm going to give it a B-plus grade, and only because of the health concerns, Joey. That's the only reason I'm giving it a B-plus grade. You can even argue it's an A-plus grade, but I'm going to give it a B-plus simply because of the durability concerns. That's my only issue with the pick.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to make a comparison between Alexander and Ward. With Alexander, you get everything you want just fundamentally. You get everything you want.
Denzel Ward was the 24th best player, and you took him at 4. No, Joey, I'm making my point. I'm making my point here. I am making my point. I'm making my point. Jair Alexander is the 33rd best player. You get him at 18. Denzel Ward's the 24th best player. You get him at 4. Packers win from a value standpoint, period.
Well, I don't care about that. That's not what I'm talking about.
Well, that's the thing you got to look at, the value.
What I'm talking about is they're polar opposites. Because Alexander, you get everything you want as a football player, but you don't know about his athleticism because of his knee. With Ward, you get all the athleticism in the world, but you don't know as a football player because he still needs to develop more.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're exact opposite when it comes to being players at this point.
Maybe.
So the question is, which one do you want most of? Because, as I said, Alexander is a top 12 talent without the knee injury. So, I mean, when you bring up the comparison between those two, they're literally...
One team took a second rounder at 18, and the other took a top 25 talent at number 4. Taking a guy that's might be an early second rounder at 18 is far more responsible than taking a guy who's a top 25 value pick at 4. That's what I'm looking at.
That's a completely different discussion.
Well, that's the bottom line, and that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I'm looking at, when it comes to that, I'm like, you have to also look at the coaching staff. Honestly, I think Cleveland's defensive coaching staff is one of the best in the NFL. Honestly, I think Green Bay's defensive coaching staff is one of the best in the NFL. So, with those two coaching staffs, in the end, if Alexander's knee holds up, we may be looking at the 2 best corners to come out of this class.
I still think Josh Jackson's the best corner, not named Minkah Fitzpatrick. But
I'm saying in the end,
he didn't run a good 40 time. These teams are clearly valuing athleticism more than coverage. They're not thinking like us. They're thinking like Ryan. They're valuing the athleticism here.
I'm just saying in 10 years, based on the coaching staff that are currently in place, if they stayed in place for 10 years, what these guys could be. Oren, what do you think about that? With these coaching staff in place, what these guys could be? Could they potentially be number 1 and number 2?
Calvin Ridley should be the pick at 19.
Is Oren alive? I'm just hearing.
Skip Bayless likes DJ Moore out of Maryland more than Calvin Ridley. That's the go to get Ridley. I mean, that's the go to get Calvin Ridley.
Could you wake Oren from his stupor? I mean,
I'm trying to type picks up.
It's like The Walking Dead over here.
Okay, The Walking Dead is a hit show, so let's keep it up.
Okay, Oren, just keep. You're gonna get us ratings doing that. I just stepped away. I wasn't even there.
Yeah, but
Okay,
the Packers traded up for Jair Alexander at 18, and it was a great pick, in my opinion. I gave it a B+ grade.
Yeah.
It's way better than Denzel Ward at 4. It's way better than Denzel Ward at 4.
What we were discussing was if
I was discussing the value. The value.
if these two coaching staffs stayed in place between the Packers and the Browns with the defensive coaching staff they have, would these two guys be number 1 and number 2 out of this draft in 10 years? Right. Agreed or disagreed? I think I agree with that.
Yeah, Dallas is on the clock. I'm thinking it's got to be Calvin Ridley. He's a top 5 player still on the board. It just makes too much sense to take him at this point.
Yeah. You get rid of Des Bryant, you have to replace him with a highly touted prospect.
Calvin Ridley would be an A+ grade here. Cortland Sutton, on the other hand, would be a C grade for me, and that's only because I have Christian Kirk and DJ Chark graded ahead of him.
Yeah, Sutton is one of those guys that you love, but at the same time, he's lethargic. And you don't want that lethargy. When you're looking at top wide receivers, you want those sharp routes. You want that speed done deep. You want the ability to get open. And that's what Ridley brings you.
Oh, shoot. The Cowboys are not going to take him. They're looking at Leighton Vander Esch at 19. And this is going to be a C grade for me. This is a C grade. Rashaan Evans is better than Leighton Vander Esch. He's better. So this is a C grade for me. Plus, Ridley's still on the board. There's a lot of better options for Dallas than Leighton Vander Esch at 19. This is a C grade for me. It's not a terrible pick, but it's a C grade. Jalen Smith's knee has all cleared. He's medically cleared. He doesn't have the knee brace in his leg anymore, and he's working out again. So I don't understand why you'd waste this pick on Leighton Vander Esch, knowing that.
Yeah, I'm not sure that this pick doesn't. We can't deny that Vander Esch is extremely talented athletically, but at the same time, it's like he's a second-round prospect that I don't really think fits in Dallas.
I had Leighton Vander Esch in the second round, but I moved him up to 25 because I figured Rashaan Evans would be gone before. But Leighton got picked first, and that's irresponsible. Rashaan Evans is a far better player than Leighton Vander Esch. Far better.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Happened with the Steelers and the Raiders. What was that? I know.
The Raiders.
Steelers and the Raiders. That's what I thought you said.
But the Raiders don't. The Raiders would get 28 then.
The Raiders and Steelers. Raiders just got Martavis Bryant for their long pick.
That's not news.
This is something we heard earlier. We weren't sure about the Raiders shopping Bryant. I mean, wow. That's bigger than Vander Esch going to Dallas.
No, it really isn't. I mean, Leighton Vander Esch, I want to stick with draft trades. I don't want trades that involve players. I want draft trades.
Come on, you have it's like Vander Esch, but at the
Guys, let's stick to the draft.
The trade coming up is just absolutely astonishing. Because that's one of the best receivers in the NFL going.
They have Juju Smith-Schuster and Brown. They don't need Martavis Bryant. The Raiders gave up a third-round pick for him. That is big news. But Leighton Vander Esch, 25th best player on the board, going 19. I do have a problem with that, considering that Rashaan Evans, the best linebacker, is still on the board. Taven Bryan's still on the board. Harrison Phillips is still on the board. Calvin Ridley's still on the board. All four of those players would have been better picks. That's why this is a C grade for me.
Yeah,
it's not an F grade or a D grade, but it's a C grade. It's a C grade at least. That's what I'm saying. It's not an F grade or a D grade. I'm not going to be an alarmist, but it is a C grade.
Yeah, he has a lot of athletic ability, so it's not alarming. I'm not sure how he fits.
This is awesome.
As the Raiders fan who just got one of the best receivers in the NFL.
Thank you very much. We have Jordy Nelson and Amari Cooper. Wow, look at that threesome. Well, Derek Carr better be good this year. He has no fucking excuse. I hate to spin my language, but it's true.
Yeah, you weren't around to hear my rant about falling at the sixth-throw window with your language is fine. It's for good.
Yeah, that's Leighton Vander Esch. That is a C grade. So the Steelers are going to get the 75th pick in the draft now. So that's happening. And I am going to type in the Detroit Lions. Someone type that in. And I'm going to promote the second half of draft grades right now on Twitter. I'm going to tweet that out. They're looking at Landry, I guess. They're looking at Geis. They're looking at a lot of different options here.
And just to let people know, I'm reporting from Descada, so I don't have all the Twitter things, and all that other stuff. I am literally reporting what I see. So,
yeah. So I've got.
Yeah. I'm reporting what I see. Chris, you're the one that's on the Twitter, and Oren, you're the one that's extremely excited.
Ugh, Twitter's not letting me tweet the freaking pics. Twitter, stop. This is not the time to pull this, Twitter. This is not the time to do this. Okay? This is not the time to have technical difficulties, Twitter. Oren. Okay. Okay. Okay, Oren, the Lions are on the clock. I want draft trades. This is not irrelevant to day one. It's a draft trade, and we can talk about it on day 2 tomorrow. What the Steelers are going to do with that pick. So we got the grades up here, and we've got
the pick is in for Detroit.
I will try to find out what the Lions are doing here. The Patriots there's going to be another trade, I feel like, because Lamar Jackson's still on the board, and I just don't see the Patriots getting him. I feel like a team's going to trade out of that pick. I feel like the Bengals might even move this pick just to keep the Ravens from getting Calvin Ridley, just to block them from Ridley. I feel like we could see a trade at 21 or even 22. I wouldn't even be surprised if we had back-to-back trades here. Ooh, Frank Ragnow, the center out of Arkansas, to replace Travis Swanson, who I have a third-round grade on. He's not even the number 1 center in the draft, so that is an F grade for me. So it's looking like Frank Ragnow, the Arkansas center, is going to replace Travis Swanson, an Arkansas center, here. And I have a round 3 grade on Frank Ragnow. So this is an F grade for me because the Lions, they were going to move Glasgow to center. They didn't even take the number 1 center on my board, James Daniels. So this is an F grade for me if Frank Ragnow is, in fact, the pick at 20. There is a temptation to give this a Millen grade, but I'm not going to be that cruel to Lions fans, and I'm not going to trademark Walter Cherepinski's brilliant catchphrase. So I'm going to give the Lions an F grade and be the bigger man here.
Well, here's the thing. I like Ragnow as a player, but this was a third-round prospect, man.
And you took him at 20.
A third-round prospect going in the middle of round 1.
It's an F grade. It's an F grade for me.
Yeah, there's a lot you can say about that. I love him as a prospect, but
I think he's a future starter, but taking him at 20 is beyond irresponsible, in my opinion. I mean,
well, that's the Lions for you.
Let's scroll into our draft game here. I'm already on pick 66. Frank Ragnow, 66th player on the draft game, selected at 20. First third rounder off the board.
Well, Oren, the only thing I can say to you about that is dilly-dilly.
And the Bengals were planning on taking Ragnow at 21. It's almost like the Bengals fearmongered the Lions.
Well, he's considered one of the best centers in the draft. I mean, is that why?
Could be. But that is a reach. That is a reach of massive proportions here. You've got Josh Jackson, Lamar Jackson still on the board.
I mean, being the best center in the draft in a year like this when it comes to center.
I think the Iowa center is the best center in the draft. The Iowa center is my favorite in the draft. James Daniels at Iowa. He's the best center in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
that's why this is an F grade. I would have gave James Daniels a C grade at 20 because I have a third round grade on him, but it's not even the best center.
That's kind of what it is, though. It's one of those things that I think I can speak for it because I was a fat ass myself, but that's kind of what it's like. It's just this. It's just things like you're the fattest guy at a freaking Backstreet Boys concert. I mean, it's like you feel like Joey Fatone at the moment. You know, that's how good you are when it comes to center class. I mean, that is not something to. He might be first or second best center in this class, but I mean, that's not something to brag about. He went in the first round, yeah, but I mean, come on, man.
I am hearing that the Bengals might end up getting. No, I don't think they're going to move this pick. There were reports that they might move this pick, but I don't think that's going to happen. But one of the reports I read is that the Patriots gave up 23 and 198. They offered those two picks, their sixth rounder and 23, just to move up 2 spots to get Lamar Jackson. Now, if the Patriots had pulled that off, that would have been an A+ grade simply because of the value. and simply because of how badly they hustled the Bengals. If they had pulled that off, that would have been an A+.
I am shocked that nobody has traded up for Lamar Jackson yet. It's like, yeah, he had a 13 on his Wonderland. He is dumb as a box of rocks. But you put somebody as dumb as a box of rocks behind somebody like Drew Brees or Aaron Rodgers,
or Tom Brady, even.
Tom Brady or somebody like that, they're going to wipe shit. I mean, they're going to get small. The Patriots, no. There's nobody. You really think the Ravens are going to take Lamar Jackson? You really think
the pick is in. And they take Billy Price, the injury-prone center out of Ohio State. And now I got to scroll all the way back to round 3 and type in Billy Price. I got to scroll all the way back to round 3, and he's the number 3 center, not the number 1 center, the number 3 center on my board. So I'm going with another F grade here. I do think Billy Price can be a good starter, but this is a reach at 21. He's not Pat Elflein. Pat Elflein was way better as a prospect. Pat Elflein deserves to be in the first round. Billy Price doesn't. So another F grade here for the back-to-back F grades here.
Like, people think, as a former fat ass, that I'm insensitive to fat asses when I'm using them as an example. Like, you think that's harsh? Look at Chris's grades for these centers. It's like, I would at least give them a C or a D. Chris is like F minus. Like, center.
They took the 74th best player at 21. That's an F grade for me.
Billy Price is not a bad center. Neither of these guys are bad center.
They could both be starting centers, but you just don't take a center in the first round when you consider how inferior these guys are compared to Pat Elflein, who fell to round 3 last year. They're both inferior centers compared to Pat Elflein.
Absolutely, they're bad value. But, I mean, they're talented guys.
They are, but they're bad value.
I would give them a D grade or, a D grade, a C minus grade. You're giving like F minus. It's like, you're getting Joey Delacosta's ass and that's going up in a borrowed type grade. It's like, yes, and both centers are going to, and both those centers are going to play on their line for 10 years.
Billy Price is not going to play on the line for 10 years if he gets injured.
For Christ's sake. Come on. Now you're predicting, you can't predict injuries. I mean, you say, okay, these guys are reaches, but they're talented reaches. So we're going to go a C or a D grade. Okay, we get that. They're talented reaches. Joey throws up in a toilet after 15 freaking Jaeger bombs, as a grade. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
They passed on these good offensive tackles when they could have gotten a right tackle upgrade for Billy freaking Price. If Pat Price is Doug Dadish, and the Titans have moved up to 22.
Let's go with Billy Price. Billy Price is a good pass blocker, good run blocker.
He's not a good pass blocker. He's a horrible pass blocker. He's a great run blocker, but he's a horrible pass blocker.
He's not spectacular. I said good. I didn't say great. He's nothing spectacular.
He's a great run blocker and a horrendous pass blocker.
It's like you're saying a solid player is terrible. It's like a solid player is terrible. If he was ever drafted. But you're giving a terrible grade to a solid player.
This draft only has 5 centers who could be starters, but none are worth taking before round 3. They took a guy.
That's why it's considered a reach.
Okay, I'll bump both centers up to a D grade. Joey, if the Patriots, I'm going to leave this a chance, Joey. If the Patriots get Lamar Jackson, I'll bump both centers up to a D grade. But right now, I'm leaving it all a chance.
Okay. We'll like.
Right now, I'm giving both teams F grades.
Derek, you tweeted, welcome to
Don't care. We're focused on the draft. The Titans have moved up to 22, and that is what I want to talk about. The Titans trading up to 22. That is the news.
I will make you a deal, Chris. You will move both of those centers up to a C grade if Romero Jackson goes before Josh Jackson.
I can take either Jackson, and I will move each center up to a C.
That's the deal. You gonna take it or you gonna leave it?
I'll move both centers up to a C- if we get one of the Jacksons at 23.
All right.
And I will raise the stakes even further. If we get Josh Jackson at 23 and Lamar at 31, I will move both centers up to a C+ grade, Joey. I'll go even further.
All right. And Oren, the rate hurt this right here. By the way, you guys are talking and you didn't even see the trade come.
I read the trade. You weren't listening. I read the trade. God.
Well, what we were going at is what's far more interesting than you reading the trade.
Apparently. I'm guessing the Titans are taking Rashaan Evans here. I don't see who else they could take from a value standpoint.
It's basically one spot, two spots. Like, I mean, after the trades that we've seen so far, that kind of seems mundane.
Oh, the Calvin Ridley's still on the board. So if the Titans don't get Calvin Ridley, the Patriots can get Calvin Ridley.
If the Titans get Calvin Ridley, you got to look at that as a huge win. Yeah, they're going to block
Rashaan Evans out of Alabama is the pick.
Yep, Rashaan Evans.
That is a great pick. It fills their biggest need.
I really like Evans as a player.
I have Evans going to 22, so I'm going to give this an A grade. It's an awesome pick. A grade for the Titans. Maybe A- if you consider what they traded up for.
It's a really good pick. Like, I would have said Ridley. Like, but, I mean, look at him. He's just standing there in agreement. He's just rubbing his hands. Like,
Yeah, there's 3 top 16 players on the board. Calvin Ridley, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Jackson. And as long as one ends up on the Patriots, I'll move the both center grades up to a C-.
Excellent. Then, Oren, what do you think about this pick? This is a wonderful pick. John Evans does fit this thing. He's going to go well with the Titans. And, you know, they're looking for a linebacker. They got a linebacker. Now you have somebody that's going to be on the team for a while, and you're going to fill that spot that they needed at that spot. When I was doing a mock draft, I don't know exactly who I had it around, but if you move up a few spots, it's not going to hurt too much. I don't know exactly the thing of the
I'm not sure if John is still in the call. We have not heard from John in a while. We were going at it, John, but yeah, the Patriots are up. Lamar Jackson's still there. Ridley's still there. Taven Bryan is still there. There are a lot of players still on the board. Someone said if they pass on Ridley for Lamar, they're going to throw their TV out the window. I mean, all these options, I am just so happy right now. The Patriots. I am taking a break from the draft grades because I want to find out who my Patriots are getting.
The real question is, Oren, how much have you had to drink tonight? Hey, bad. I'd smoke a whole two. You'd be good.
About 2 monsters and a coffee that I had earlier.
There are 3 players that weren't an A+ grade here with Josh Jackson, Lamar Jackson, and Calvin Ridley.
I'm going to go see Avengers after this, so yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, hell, you have a reason.
Well, someone else at Draft Utopia got early access to the Avengers movie, and I cannot name them for legal reasons because I made a deal with them not to name that individual.
By the way, I do have a show coming up
Ooh, it is Lamar, apparently, according to the sources.
It doesn't matter, Chris. It's like you don't have anything to see it for. So just play broke.
Let's see who the Patriots got.
As long as I'm not going to get ninja kicked by Lisa or anything like that, I'm good. I don't feel Chris's wrath, but Lisa, we may have something going there.
Oh boy, Lamar Jackson, the Patriots. Is gonna as long as they get one of the 3 players on the board, Josh Jackson, Lamar Jackson, Calvin Ridley, it is an A+ grade. I'll bump the grades up to a C. If they get Ridley, I'm bumping the centers up to a C- or but if they bump if they get one of the Jacksons, I'll go up to a C.
Everything has happened. Yep.
And you know they sat back and waited, so I think they're going to get something good. No kidding aside.
Patriots are waiting this out until the last minute.
The Patriots are talking about Bill Belichick he rarely fucked up his big board, unlike Dummy Troy Aikman.
Field Yates has reported that Lamar Jackson's wait will continue. I mocked Connor Williams to the Patriots, the left tackle out of Texas. I mocked him, so he's there too. There's a lot of picks, a lot of good players in play for the Patriots at 23.
They're playing shadow dancing and somebody's shadow boxing. And we still have Jackson in the green room in a fucking awesome green suit with a fucking bow tie.
They were comparing it to the Lucky Charms suit.
You win for that alone.
I'm not getting anything new here from the Patriots.
Oh no, it's the Patriots. Why the hell would they be anything? The pick is in. A pick is in. Wow. There is a wow from somebody. So we are looking at a hell of a pick here. Johnny has been drafted. I don't even know who Johnny is, but Johnny has been drafted.
It is not Lamar Jackson.
It might be Josh Jackson, who I have as the #1 player on my big board right now. It could be Ridley. It could be Taven Bryan. There's a lot of options.
So we do have a chocolate factory here in Jacksonville.
Oh, no, do not take Isaiah Wynn here. No.
Yes, Isaiah Wynn just to get on Chris.
Actually, bro, it's Isaiah Wynn.
Please do not.
Good. I will take the loss of the bet if they do it.
And I'm keeping the F grades. If Isaiah Wynn is a Patriot, the F grades remain. The F grades remain. They remain. We have 2 guards under contract. Well, Shaq Mason is in a contract year. Shaq Mason, the right guard for the Patriots, is in a contract year.
They are loving this pick. That's crazy, man. I would have thought that. Jaguars fans are loving a Patriots pick. That should tell you how bad it is. Chris,
I know, but Antonio Garcia, there's durability issues with Antonio Garcia. Is he going to be healthy? That's why they made this pick. But he can play tackle or guard, versatile. And you look at Shaq Mason. He enters the final year of his rookie contract. They're not re-signing Shaq Mason. This is a pretty clear indicator they're not re-signing Shaq Mason. I had Isaiah Wynn at 40 on the draft game, but there are people that had Isaiah Wynn in the first round. Tony Mario had Isaiah Wynn to the Lions, and Mark Suba had him going 1 pick before this. No, Tony had Isaiah Wynn to the Bills, and Mark had him on the Bengals. So
Jaguars fans are applauding your failure.
I really don't care what the Jaguars fans are doing. We beat them in the AFC Championship. We beat them in the AFC Championship. That's all I care about, and I am trying to turn a positive spin on this New England Patriots pick. It is a reach.
You're trying to put a positive spin off this massive failure of a draft pick.
It's not a failure, Joey. He was medically cleared before the draft. You're just trying to torture me because you get fun thrill out of it, and they're Shaq Mason, their right guards in a contract year. This was a business pick, and it's basically New England is saying, let me finish, mother! Let me finish! Let me finish what I'm going to fucking say. Isaiah Wynn can take over for Shaq Mason in 2019. This is a strategic pick. It is more strategic than you realize. It's a reach, but it's not a terrible pick. I'm going to give it a B- grade.
That is me getting revenge for that long snapper shit you did with the #1 overall pick.
Yeah, but we got a guy who could end up being the Cordy Glenn of this draft if he beats out Garcia at left tackle. He's probably going to kick inside to guard, but I mean... Well, the Jaguars and Bengals are getting F grades. They're getting freaking F grades, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it since you lost the bet. You lost the bet, Joey, so the Jaguars are getting F grades. You have to take your L. You could savor the fact that we took Isaiah Wynn, but you have to take your L here.
I don't care. You failed, and that is just...
I gave it a B- grade. It's a B- pick, Joey. It's a B- for me, anyway. There's people that have Wynn as guard 2 behind Quentin Nelson. I have him as the 4th best guard in the draft.
You're a Patriots fan. That's why you give it a B-.
There's still a lot of fantastic value still on the board here. Shit.
Moving on. Perfect segue into the next pick. So let's see who gets number 20.
Calvin Ridley is gonna fall to the Panthers. If the Panthers pass on Calvin Ridley, I am totally cool with an actual Panther eating Jerry Richardson. That is how bad this would be. If the Panthers passed on Calvin Ridley, it would actually be a bigger disaster than Jerry Richardson, the Panthers owner who's selling the team, getting eaten by a live Panther. That's how big of a disaster it would be for Carolina. Yeah, Ryan left the call. I don't know what you think of this pick, John, but it's like, this is just crazy. I mean, I bet John took a bong hit after that Isaiah Wynn pick, considering everything that was there. So he did take an Isaiah Wynn. But if the Patriots get a quality left tackle with this pick, then it could be any number of players here. But I'm keeping the F grades up. That's happening. Those F grades are here to stay for Cincinnati and for Detroit because that was our wager, Joey. And you have to honor the terms of the wager. I'm not giving the Patriots an F grade for Isaiah Wynn. He's a top 40 talent, even though it's a reach. Panthers are looking at DJ Moore. Wow, what a reach. Another horrible selection. DJ Moore is the 6th best receiver in the draft, and that warrants an F grade. Considering I have 5 receivers ahead of DJ Moore, that's an F. So we had the Patriots pick, and we had an F grade for Carolina here. So 3 of the last 4 picks have been F grades for me.
Give yourself a pick like that.
DJ Moore is the 70th best player in the draft. You don't take the 70th best player in the draft over Calvin Ridley at 24.
The Panthers take
The scary thing is the Ravens have traded down twice, and they're still going to get Calvin Ridley. They could still get Calvin Ridley even after trading down twice for more picks. That's what you have to put in a retrospect here. I mean, I'm not wrong on this.
Gotta make me happy and make out.
I'm right, though. It's like that's the thing you've got to put into retrospect here. I mean, the fact that DJ Moore, a massive reach here, a massive reach at 24, which warrants an F grade in my opinion. I know the others are going to be a lot higher on this pick, but this is an F grade for me.
Not bad. I mean, it's not a massive reach.
Calvin Ridley is good. Christian Kirk would have been better. DJ Chark would have been better. Cortland Sutton would have been better. Anthony Miller, all would have been better options than DJ Moore. That's why this is an F grade. If one of those receivers was off the board, this would probably be a D grade or a C grade, but they're all gone. F grade for DJ Moore. It's an F grade.
I love how you say it's an F grade because it may fit their scheme. He may fit their scheme a little bit better than the ones that.
Well, to be fair, I did give the Giants an F grade for taking Odell Beckham Jr. back in 2014 before I did my draft specials with Joey. So that's the best case scenario for the Panthers.
Well, Oren, did you take my place in roasting Chris for the next couple minutes?
The Panthers get DJ Moore.
It's like Chris. I feel Oren roasting Chris over some coals over a Brady game.
Well, I'm giving the Panthers. It's the 3rd F grade within the last 4 selections here.
How can you say it's F, dude? These are all rookies. The guy who got
DJ Moore is the 70th best player. I'm looking at the value. There's 5 receivers on my board who are higher than DJ Moore. Therefore, this is an F grade for me.
Okay, let's focus on the positive. Who is the best football in the NFL draft?
I'd say there's 4 really good picks that have happened.
I'd say Roquan Smith.
I'd say Roquan to the Bears, Nelson to the Colts, Saquon to the Giants, and Derwin James to the Chargers are the best value picks. Those are the only 4 picks.
2 months ago, I had that pick, the second pick overall. I knew they were not going to take a quarterback. That was not.
Yeah. So those are really the only good selections at this point.
Now, also have to remember, the Panthers earlier today gave Greg Olsen a huge contract extension. So
I did a film session on Isaiah Wynn, too, on my YouTube channel. So Isaiah Wynn is awesome in pass protection. John Butts said that he blocks like Orlando Pace in pass protection, but he's awful as a run blocker. So taking that into consideration, Isaiah Wynn grade gets bumped up from a B minus to a B grade. Considering what John said about Isaiah Wynn, that grade is going to be boosted to a B grade. Because if he's,
that was like 4 minutes ago, dude. I mean, you're way behind time here.
I really don't care about the times or the trends. I want to set trends, and I want to focus on what players fit certain schemes the best.
I can respect that because I really don't care about the times or trends either. So, it's like
And the Ravens can still get Calvin Ridley at 25 after trading down twice. That's the insane part of this, Joey.
Weird. It's like Calvin Ridley's still available.
Calvin Ridley should not still be available. Lamar Jackson is still available. I bet the Patriots make a trade with Seattle at 27 just to screw the Steelers out of Lamar Jackson. I bet they make a trade.
Jackson's still available.
Yeah, so.
I expected Josh Jackson to be gone by now.
Yeah, same here. Mark had Josh Jackson falling to the Browns at 33. So.
Josh Jackson and Calvin Ridley, I expected both of them to be gone.
Yeah.
So. Those are easily the top 2 guys still available.
The top 3 guys on my board there's still 3 of the top 16 players on the board. Josh Jackson at 14, Lamar Jackson at 15, and Calvin Ridley at 16. They're all still on the board, waiting to be claimed. Taven Bryan is in my top 20. Dante Jackson's in my top 20. Harrison Phillips is in my top 20. So 6 of my top 20 players are still on the board here.
Lamar Jackson, though, I mean, we expected, he had a range of like 15 to 45. The other guys, they had such a small window of range. It's like, those are a little bit more surprising at this point. Like, Oren, what do you think about those 3 still being available?
Well, each of them have. I don't think it's they have to fit with the team. Before I go and say, hey, this is a beautiful pick. Right now, with the Ravens on the clock, I'll be unbelievable. I would be shocked because they move back. They continue to move back. And get more picks. That's hurt. But getting that on his out, I never was so high on Josh Jackson. I think he got a little bit more fresh and I like a couple of other.
I agree with you on Josh Jackson. I always thought he was. Everybody was thinking about this great part. I have said for a while that he's more like Jonathan Joseph. He's the guy that you're going to plug in there, he's going to play well, and he's going to play extremely well for 10 years. But he's never going to be that top 5 cornerback. And everybody's thinking about he's a top 5, top 10 cornerback. He's never going to be that, but he's always going to be that solid presence in your defensive backfield that's just going to do the right thing, get things done. He's going to do it for 10 years, and, he's never really going to be the standout, though. So, he reminds me a lot of Jonathan Joseph in that sense.
So, I agree with you. Nothing special to get the team to jump and get him. I think he may even go, to I don't think he might not even be a first rounder. Talk about him. He's been in the long draft as a first rounder. We never know how to fall right. Because we've seen a bunch of these linemen, Miller, and we've seen the 2 centers come off the court. None of us expected them to come off this early.
And remember, there's still Harold Lander and Will Hernandez as well. So, there's still really good players right there.
And you have you basically have a couple of them tackles as well.
Yeah, so,
And the Ravens just reached for Hayden Hurst, the 4th best tight end in this draft. Another F grade, folks. Nah, not that.
The question is, how did he fit? Because Baltimore has a good tight end core. So how did he fit in this situation?
And they passed on Mark Andrews. They passed on Goddard. They passed on Gesicki. F grade.
They did.
F grade.
I also like Andrews. I also like these other guys. So how did he fit?
No, the NFL has an agenda here. They want me to die of a heart attack on this podcast by handing out so many F grades that I go into cardiac arrest and die.
Well, I don't think this is an F grade simply because look at the receiving skill. As a receiver, this guy is probably the best receiving tight end.
I don't think so at all. He's the best blocking tight end. He's the worst receiving tight end. He's the best blocker, most athletic, worst receiving tight end in the draft. That's why it's an F grade.
Okay, I'll give you that. Most athletic. That's probably a better comp for it. I mean, that would go with the athletic.
All right, so I gave 4 out of 5. 4 of my last 5 picks are F grades, and I gave the Patriots a B grade for Isaiah Wynn, which does sound biased, but it's like, you know. 20 through 25.
Achievable, right? And he should be happy, man. He gets a linebacker. I mean, you got an offensive lineman to take place of Nate Soldier. How do you feel about that? You didn't think about that, did you?
Well, if Isaiah Wynn remains at left tackle like Cordy Glenn did, because this is what happened with Cordy Glenn. Everyone thought Cordy Glenn was going to move to guard coming out of Georgia. He stayed at left tackle, and he ended up being a very productive left tackle. So if Isaiah Wynn actually does beat out Antonio Garcia for the left tackle job, because John Butts basically said this is the best pass blocker since Orlando Pace, if that's how the Patriots feel, if they're that high on Isaiah Wynn and he pans out, it's going to be an excellent pick and probably one of the steals of the draft.
Well, the thing you have to realize is that Chris had visions of Iowa cornerbacks running through his head.
Crack up so bad.
See, John, the thing I got to admire about Lamar Jackson is he's far more optimistic than Aaron Rodgers was after falling on draft day. I mean, he's far more optimistic. He's just goofing around at this point.
It's like, well, at least I'm not Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that is the best you can get on draft day. I mean, that's the best you got. Hold on. Yeah, it's like you have 2 picks better than Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that's something to brag about.
The Falcons pick is in. If it's not Taven Bryan, I would be completely shell-shocked, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles shell-shocked. They need a defensive tackle. Taven Bryan's still on the board at 26. I would be shell-shocked if it was not Bryan. And I know John will be very unhappy if it's not Taven Bryan.
Well, at this point, I mean, the Falcons have so much to choose from. It's like the talent level that there's like you couldn't blame them for choosing a better player talent-wise because it's just there. I mean, that's something that you don't normally get at this point.
I would be shocked if this pick wasn't Taven Bryan. Wow! And the Falcons take Calvin Ridley at 26. And they get him as a slot receiver to replace Taylor Gabriel. A+.
That's a hell of a pick for the Falcons. Like, probably possibly the best value they could have gotten right there. You're going to get Matt Ryan some help offensively.
And I think Calvin Ridley's capable of surpassing Mohamed Sanu as that number 2 target. So, how do you feel about this pick, John? It sounded like John just took a hit.
I can't really hear you guys. I mean, that was one that got an uproar. I mean, people love that pick probably because Florida's so close to Alabama, SEC country.
I'm giving it an A+ grade simply because of the value. And he gets to go to Atlanta as a number 2 guy, which I think is a better role for him. And he becomes the Torrey Holt of this Falcons offense, with Julio Jones being the Isaac Bruce of this offense. Calvin Ridley gets to be the Torrey Holt guy, in a situation in an excellent fit. This is an excellent fit for Calvin Ridley. He's probably going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year now with Matt Ryan as his quarterback. And Seattle's on the clock. I think New England's going to trade up for Lamar or Josh Jackson here simply to screw the Steelers out because the Seattle Seahawks did not get a second-round pick from Green Bay. And I bet they're still looking to move down. If the Jaguars take Lamar Jackson, there is going to be so much pandemonium in Dos Gatos, it's not even funny, Joey. Like, you might have to retreat to a bunker if they get Lamar Jackson at 29. That is how rowdy it's going to be at Dos Gatos if the Jaguars get Lamar Jackson. Like, you're going to have to retreat to a bunker like Dick Cheney when he was in war.
Ridley, for me, is...
Did you hear my last comments while you were gone, Joey? I said that if the Jaguars take Lamar Jackson at 29, there's going to be so much pandemonium that y'all are going to have to hide in a bunker. If the Jaguars get Lamar...
I'm not going to announce that one publicly. I'm going to let the masses, like, I'm going to go here, I'm going to let the masses tell that one. Like, we're going to get a reaction from everybody here. We're going to find out what the masses think of this.
Yeah, and Calvin Ridley's still there at 16 to steal.
So, what, you know.
My phone is at 19%, but we're going to keep going here and just keep getting these picks up. I'm going to try to find out what Seahawks are going to do here. Oh! It's Jackson, Josh Jackson. It's apparently, it could be Landry, but...
I'm going to let you know. Yeah. I'm going to let you. If you don't tell me, then I'm not going to believe you. You got to tell me who it is, and then I got to take my first game. But Lamar Jackson, that's a hell of a message. Anybody can say that. It may be Josh Jackson. Hold on. Oh, it's good, bro. Lamar Jackson. It's like, get it back.
So I've got the Calvin Ridley grade up, and my phone is at 16%, but I'm not worried right now.
Who did
Seattle has not made a pick yet.
One more time. Who's Seattle take?
Seattle has not made a selection yet. I'm reading through Twitter here, and I have not seen a selection here.
How the hell do you know who Jacksonville took?
I made a snarky comment, Joey. I said if the Jaguars took Lamar Jackson, there would be pandemonium at Dos Gatos. That is what I said. The Jaguars have not made a pick yet. The Steelers have not made a pick yet. I was bringing up a hypothetical.
Chris, you are fucking with me again. I swear, when the Patriots come up, I will not let you live it down.
There's still a lot of talent on the board at 31. And if the Patriots are that high on Isaiah Wynn, I can't fault them. There's a book called The War Room. It's about the Patriots, how they built their dynasty. I've read every chapter of it. How many chapters of it have you read?
That's how they made their dynasty.
The book, The War Room. Read it. It's a good piece. It's a great piece of literature.
If Jacksonville doesn't take Jackson, I am going to beat your ass. One day, when I'm drunk. And I can't remember it. And I'm probably passed out. So
I said the Jaguars would take Lamar Jackson because it would cause so much pandemonium that you'd have to retreat to a bunker. Like, you'd literally have to hide in a bunker like Dick Cheney when he was drafted by the Army.
This is why I never repeat things until you say them on air. Not that little.
Rashad Penny, San Diego State, over Geis, over Chubb. That is an F grade. Let the F grades continue, gentlemen. A running back they could have gotten in the 4th round at 27. Yes, Rashad Penny. Geis and Chubb are there. You take them first, F grade. I think Penny could be a good starter, but taking him at 27 is just fiscally irresponsible if you're Seattle, with this much talent still on the board.
Quintessential highlight reel. Okay? As you see there, he's got great field vision, but, I mean...
Over Geis and Chubb, this is just irresponsible. I'll give it a D grade. I'll give it a D grade. I'll lighten up and give it a D grade, but this is a reach. I got an early 4th round grade on Rashad Penny. So to take a 4th round guy, at 27, that is an F grade. I have him as a 4th rounder.
You can't deny he's a playmaker. You can't deny he's got good field vision.
F grade. You don't take a 4th rounder in 27. He has potential to start, but to take a 4th rounder at 27 is just irresponsible. I have to scroll out of my top 100. I have him at 102. I see 3rd round talent, but I mocked him at 102, so it's an F grade because you're taking a day 3 guy in round 1.
It's definitely a reach, but the potential gain to a team like Seattle, who already has the ground and pound theory,
it's an F.
Just to get the fast pace, change of pace guy. That's huge for him. That's huge for them. So.
Yeah, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are on the clock, followed by the Jacksonville Jaguars. And to take a third to 4th round running back, 3rd round grade, 4th round of my mock draft, this early at 27, that is a reach. And it's a reach that warrants an F grade.
I will have either Chris or Lois kick you in the face if that's wrong. I will make that happen. He looks like I
Wow.
I will tell them that you did something completely heinous that I will tell them.
Wait, so you're going to knock my teeth in if the Steelers get Lamar Jackson. Steelers.
Like death incarnate.
It's looking like.
Yeah.
Wait.
No, I probably wouldn't. I'm not that cruel.
There is rumor that the Dolphins are trying to make a trade with Pittsburgh here at 28, just to keep the Patriots from getting the guy they want at 31. I don't know if it's true, but there is a developing rumor that the Dolphins are trying to move up with Pittsburgh here. Pittsburgh usually stays put.
That would actually be a huge trade that would completely derail everything.
It really would.
The question would be, would it happen? Oren, who do you think, if there's a trade here, who do you think the pick is? I mean, there are.
I think he went to go see the Avengers movie. I don't know if he's still on the board.
Really?
Yeah, the movie ends at like 8:30. I think the movie starts at like 8:30 his time on the Pacific Coast. Oren might still be there, but he might.
I got you. I know he said he was going, but he didn't say what time.
Terrell Edmonds to the Steelers, according to Jeff Howe. Terrell Edmonds, the brother of Tremaine Edmonds, a 5th rounder to the Steelers. Another F grade.
When you said Edmonds, the first thing I thought of was Tremaine
Terrell
Edmonds.
Edmonds, the brother of Tremaine Edmonds to the Steelers at 28. Another F grade. It's a draft miss miracle. If this happens, it's a draft miss miracle. The Steelers reaching for a mediocre 5th round backup safety at 28. It's an F. It's a draft miss miracle. If it happens, it's a draft miss miracle.
Say this again, so please savor it. Could you please put your mouth closer to your phone?
It's a draft miss miracle if the Steelers take a 5th round safety at 28. It's like, this is the fuck up this team deserves.
Even I would say that's pretty fucked up. Like, I cannot defend that in any way. Wow! Oh my Lord! Is this shocking?
Ryan Shazier is going to walk onto the stage and announce the pick, I guess. Yeah, that is an F grade.
Are they going to tell the deputy commissioner to go up there and announce the pick, because it feels like it's so dead, you know?
Edmonds is the pick. Terrell Edmonds, a mediocre backup safety who we have a day 3 grade on, a 5th round grade on in round 1. That is an F grade.
The Steelers took a backup safety in round 1. How do you defend that?
I love it. A backup safety. Pittsburgh is finally getting their just desserts and their arrogant fans. Some of their fans that are sports bloggers are grateful, but other fans, they never show any gratitude when their team gets outplayed. They didn't show any gratitude when the Patriots outplayed them. They never showed any gratitude when the Jaguars outplayed them. Pittsburgh is getting what they deserve. They're getting what they deserve, and I'm happy.
What type of ecstasy are they on tonight?
It's almost like John Dorsey roofied their war room. It's almost like John Dorsey hired Liam Neeson to put roofies in their war room.
It's not even roofies. It's just ecstasy at this point. I mean, you know, pure stuff. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers brass, I mean,
Yeah, it's almost, this is just an awful pick. Terrell Edmonds, a 5th-round safety to the Steelers.
A 5th-round backup safety.
I had an 84 potential grade on him. This is the first player with a potential grade of below 85 on my rankings to get picked in the 1st round. So, yes, that is an F grade. Joey will even agree that that is an F grade.
Yeah, there's no defense to that. It's like, you can say it's an F, but it's like, it's far worse than an F.
It really is.
Any F.
It really is. I mean, this is...
I would actually give it an I for incomplete if I was a grading teacher. So,
I honestly want to give this I'm scrolling through my draft game to find Terrell Edmonds. I do have him in the 5th round. I have him at pick 142. The 142nd best player just got taken by the Steelers at 28. The 142nd best player in the entire draft just got picked by the Steelers at 28. The 142nd best player in this entire draft just got selected at 28. And I'm just too happy about watching this team suffer, the Steelers. I'm not saying who the Jaguars have gotten. I'm going to be gracious to your Jaguars, even though we won the AFC title. My phone is at 12%. The Steelers are going to get another F grade. I mean, I think half of my picks, every pick, it's like the NBA draft, I went all A+ grades the first few picks. The second half of this draft, I've gone all F grades. Oh, Jaguars took. I know who they took. I'm not saying, but I know who they took. It's a player on my top 20. I know who the Jaguars are taking, but I'm not rooting this for your fans at Dos Gatos, but it is a good player. I do know the pick, but it's not Lamar Jackson. It's a player, doesn't really fit a need, but it's a top 20 player on my board. I'm not going to get whacked, okay? I'm safe. I'm completely safe. My apartment is locked, and I'm not going to get whacked by Joey. I know who the pick is, but I'm not saying who it is. I'm not rooting this for your friends at Dos Gatos, but it is a very good value pick. Not a need, not an immediate need, but definitely a player they can develop for the future. I'm charging my phone now because it is at 10%. My phone is now at 10%, and I need to charge it. Just, I'll stay on the call here. But I'm going to charge my phone. I knew that pick, but I kept my mouth shut, Joey. I did the honorable thing for once and kept my mouth shut. I knew it was Brian, but I didn't want to say anything. Taven Bryan, it's an awesome value pick at this point, late in the first round. And they get him as a depth player. They don't get him as a starter. They get him as a depth player. And they don't have to start him right away. Their defensive line's already stacked. So they can develop him for a year, have him get stronger. This is an awesome fit for Taylor Bryan. I think it's an A+ grade. No, it's excellent value. Taylor Bryan is 19 on my board, the top, second best defensive tackle available. It's an A grade for me. It's an A grade. But an A grade. Well, someone's going to have to trade up for Lamar Jackson, or the Patriots probably will get him at 31. Nope. Yeah, I'll go with C- if they get one of the Jacksons here. I've already bumped the pick up. The Vikings are looking at Will Hernandez, who I have at 20th on my draft game and who fills a need at guard. So that would be an A+ grade for me, in my honest opinion, if they got Will Hernandez, because I had Will Hernandez graded ahead of Isaiah Wynn. So that would be an A+ grade for me easily, if that's who they end up taking. And you put him next to Pat Elflein and Dalvin Cook, Cook will take off with that offense. So the Vikings get our 5th A+ grade of the night, folks. But if they do pick him, that's the 5th A+ grade. With Barkley at 2, Roquan to the Bears at 8, Nelson the Colts at 6, Derwin James to the Chargers at 17, the 4 A+ grades I've handed out so far. Isaiah Wynn would be number 5 if the tradition holds up here. Isaiah Wynn is going to be great. You're going to be surprised. He pass blocks like Orlando Pace, but he's awful as a run blocker. That's what John Buck said. You're just trying to break my spirit, and it has no effect. It is not very effective. It's like when a Charizard attacks a Squirtle, your attack is not very effective. My attacks, however, are super effective. Oh, Mike Hughes. Mike Hughes, Central Florida. I have a 3rd round grade on him at 79. They don't really need him here. This is a reach, especially when you consider that Josh Jackson's still on the board, Oliver's on the board, Isaac Yiadon's on the board. There's better corners on the board than Mike Hughes. This is a reach, and Mike Hughes, for me, didn't really impress me to the point where I consider him a Pro Bowl talent. I don't see the ceiling of a Pro Bowl player, and I think there's guys you can get that have Pro Bowl value in round 2 of this draft. I don't see that with Mike Hughes. I have a round 3 grade on him. Yeah, Mike Hughes, Central Florida corner. He is the pick. C grade or D grade. Yeah, that is a reach. I think it's a C grade, to be honest. I like the player, but taking him this early is a reach. They got the highest paid corner in the league, Xavier Rhodes. They got Tron Waynes. Hughes can play the nickel, but it's a reach. It is a reach for sure. So that is a reach. That was not Ryan. That's John. Ryan is off the call. John is the one smoking the bowl. John is on the call. That was John, not Ryan. John is the one getting high, Joey. You're so drunk you can't even tell who's getting high. Lamar Jackson should be the pick here. Lamar Jackson, Josh Jackson, one of the Jacksons here. Lamar Jackson should be the pick here. Yeah, Isaiah Wynn could be a steal. He could be a good value pick. I know Mark has him as the number 2 guard this draft, and we'll see what happens. But Lamar Jackson is still there. Josh Jackson's also still there. Well, Mike Locchio said Patriots picked a shiny object in the first round. Love it. No, not goddamn Sonny Michel. Do not take Sonny Michel. Sonny Michel is worse than Nick Chubb. Do not take him. Do not take Sonny Michel, New England. Do not do this. And Chubb. Do not do this, New England. You took a 5th round running back in round 1. I bet the Patriots probably trade up for Lamar Jackson tomorrow with the Browns. God damn it. Lamar, I'm keeping the F grades, Joey. I'm keeping the F grades. And I swear if Lamar Jackson goes 32 to the Eagles, or the Eagles trade this pick and Lamar Jackson goes 32nd, I'm going to give Denzel Ward an F grade because I'm that salty right now. I'm that pissed. I'm that salty. I will give Denzel Ward an F grade if Lamar Jackson gets picked at 32 here. Yeah. Ugh, we took Sonny Michel. Awful draft by the Patriots. Another F grade. I even have to give my team a freaking F grade. 5th round running back, does not have good pass protection, fumbles the ball frequently. F grade. F grade, F grade, F grade. Jesus. I mean, I'm going to give Mike Hughes a D grade, and I'm going to give Sonny Michel an F grade here. I'm probably going to stay on the call a little bit longer than you guys as I type my live grades and get them updated. You guys can hit the road after this pick if you want, but I'm probably going to stay on the call because it's only 3 hours and 30 minutes. Well, they're reaching for guys who don't pass block. Pass blocking and vision are more important than game speed. Yeah. Yeah, I had Sonny Michel as the 151st player on my board. I actually had him graded lower than Terrell Edmonds, believe it or not. So that is an F grade for my Patriots. The Ravens have moved up to 32, folks. They might move up for Courtland Sutton. The Ravens have just gotten 32 from Baltimore. The Eagles have traded 32 to the Ravens. So the Ravens are back on the clock. I'm going to work on the draft grades and type them up as soon as the pick is in. While you guys go to the Avengers and Joey continues to get drunk, I'm going to type the draft grades up and get them updated as soon as the Ravens make this pick. My phone is charging, so I'm at a handicap right now with my phone charging. And being at 23%, I'm at a handicap. I'm still on the call. We still have about an hour and 26 minutes on the call, on Google Hangouts, on TalkShoe. We still have some time here. It's the Ravens. They're getting Lamar Jackson, and I'm giving the Browns an F grade. Another F grade. Denzel Ward gets an F grade. That was our wager, gentlemen, that if the Ravens traded up, if Lamar Jackson went 32nd, I will change the Denzel Ward pick to an F grade. It is Lamar Jackson to groom behind Flacco. They have Flacco under contract until 2020, and yep, and the Denzel Ward pick becomes an F grade now. The Denzel Ward pick becomes an F grade now because that is how it works. That is how our wager worked, Joey. I basically said on this podcast that so Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, am I going to give it an F grade? No, I'm not. Joey says I should, but fuck that. I'm not giving Lamar an F grade. But I am giving the Browns an F grade for Denzel Ward. 4th best corner at 24th best player at number 4. That's an F grade. And I said I'd do it. I said I'd do it. If the Ravens got Lamar Jackson or if a team traded up for Lamar, I would give. Okay, so let's keep track of all the F grades I handed out. Isaiah Wynn was a B grade for me, but you look at picks 24, 21 through 24, 22, 1, 22, 24, that's 4, 21, 22, 24, that's 4 F grades. 25, the Ravens, F grade number 5. 27, what, Seattle, that was a 6 F. I'm trying to keep track of all my F grades. 4, 21, 22, 24, that's 4. 25, that's 5. 27, 6, 7 F grades. So 8, I have a mind-boggling 8 F grades in round 1. 8 F grades. And I didn't die of a heart attack. So suck it, Cadell. I didn't die of a heart attack. I know that was your sick plan. You're that annoyed with my sports knowledge that you want me to go into cardiac arrest and die of a heart attack. Well, I survived. And I gave 8 teams F grades. A rude record at Draft Utopia. A mind-boggling 8 F grades in round 1, folks. I'm still here, folks. I'm still on the call, and I know we're going to be still on the call here, but how do you feel about all these guys falling the draft? Josh Jackson is still there. You've got a lot of players still on the board as we enter round 2. Harrison Phillips is my number 2 player. He's still there. Dante Jackson, LSU corner, is still there. Will Hernandez is still there. So you're realistically looking at 5 or 4 players in my top 20 still on the board here as we enter day 2. 4 in the top 20, and Connor Williams is also still there entering day 2. Hurst is still there. Elliott's still there. So you've got 4 of the top 20 players who's still on the board here. You've got Williams at 5, Hurst at 6, Elliott 7, Gesicki 8, Harrison at 9, Lorenzo Carter at 10. So 10 first-round grades are still on the board as we enter round 2. It is a numbers game, gentlemen. And if the Patriots at 43, the numbers say that one of those 10 players who I have a first-round grade on will be there at 43. So we have a chance to make up for our screw-up. We have an opportunity. I mean, 8 F grades. And that's excluding the Lamar Jackson pick, which I'm going to give a C grade to. Because I love the pick. I love the value of the pick, but the point is it's a reach at this point. The Ravens need a receiver and a running back more than a quarterback. So, I mean, 8 F grades in the first round. That is a new record on our draft special. 8 F grades in round 1. A record. Mind-boggling 8 F grades in round 1. We gave 8 war rooms the finger tonight in a historic edition of our Draft Utopia yearly draft special. So Rashad Penny, that is an F grade. I don't know what the Eagles got in the Lamar Jackson trade. We should find that out probably before we end the call. They probably got the Ravens' second-round pick, but that would be nice if someone can figure that out for us while we got these picks up. Still on the call here, and I'm typing in the live grades for each pick, and 8 F grades. I've handed out 8 F grades, and I'm amazed that nobody has gone after me on Twitter yet, but 8 F grades in round 1, which is truly historic. I mean, a quarter of the picks I gave F grades to, Joey. So when we look back on this draft, other players I've handed F grades to, I gave the Rams an F grade for Todd Gurley in 2015, and Odell Beckham, I gave him an F grade in 2014. 8 F grades in round 1. Which means there's going to be a lot of great grades on day 2 of the draft tomorrow. But 8 in round 1. I gave 8 teams F grades. I only gave the Patriots 1 F grade. I gave the Patriots 1 F grade. Sonny Michel. Isaiah Wynn was a good pick at 23. It wasn't a fantastic pick, but the value was nice. I mean, that was an awful draft for the Patriots, outside of the Isaiah Wynn pick, which I think could be good down the road. But that was... And we're still on the call, folks. We can talk a little bit about day 2, but look at the Browns here. They need to take Josh Jackson at 33 just because of the value and pair him up with Denzel Ward because Jackson's better than Ward. He is better than Denzel Ward. It's the problem with scouting. Scouting care more about speed and athleticism than coverage. It's like Ryan is making the draft picks for some of these NFL teams. 8. I've handed out a historic 8 F grades here on draft day. 8. So that is a historic record. And I made enough of an ass of myself to the point where I'm just not sure. Oh, shoot. I forgot the Josh Allen pick on the ticker. I need to type that in now. I got the grade up for Josh Allen, but I forgot to type that in on the ticker. Mark probably loves our Patriots draft with Wynn and Michel, but Michel is not as good as Nick Chubb. He doesn't pass block like Nick Chubb. He fumbles the ball. He's not a good pick. It's not a good pick at all. What the hell are we thinking? Wasting a first rounder on Sonny Michel when Nick Chubb is there. So, looking at this draft, I've handed out a historic 8 F grades here. I'm trying to see if I typed in over a record or... Ooh, I didn't... Bengals pick at 21, Billy Price. And the Bills at 16 did not type that pick in, and that was Tremaine Edmonds. So... And RG3 is going to – Lamar Jackson's competing with RG3 for the right to be Flacco. Let's put that into retrospect if you're still in the call.
That is rather sad. I'm on the call. Just wait for another beer.
Yeah, it's like I'm still on the call because I'm getting the grades up.
Music in the background.
It's like our draft was only 3.5 hours. This NFL draft was about the same time like as the NHL draft, which is actually kind of sad when you think about it. The fact that the NFL draft was as quick as the NHL draft this year.
Now, to let you know I was still around, I was thinking like one line of each song every 3 lines. Like what the hell? Like, how'd you miss it?
And then Terrell Edmonds.
And, you know, really, like, I could hear Oren laughing in the background.
Yeah, I know. We're still in the call here. It's round 1, and we've seen 5th-round guys, 2 5th-round guys going to Pittsburgh. It's just not a good draft for the Patriots. I'm not happy with this draft, but we got an opportunity to rebound tomorrow with some picks if we rebound on these picks. But Sonny Michel is not as good as Nick Chubb, in my opinion. Hopefully he comes into New England and proves me wrong, but...
At least you remember that you made the bad decision. You know, typically if I wake up and I don't remember things, I assume they were bad. Okay, well, close enough. I mean...
I'm still on the call here. I'm typing the grades up.
There's a lesson to our young listeners. If you wake up and you don't remember things, then you just assume it's a bad decision.
Yeah, it's like the Patriots got worse during this draft. The Steelers got worse. The Jaguars got worse. I mean, right now I'm looking at the Colts as the big winner of this draft. Because if they can dominate and get some picks on day 2.
This is belief from somebody who's watched the tape, or should I go with the fans' reaction of, fuck you, I hate this pick. You know, I mean, it's...
Go ahead. If you've got some fan reactions, go ahead and read them on the show.
Yeah,
because
with the Jaguars pick, it's like, from the fans' decision, it seems like the Jaguars pick sucked.
Well, I think I'm giving it an A grade because I love the idea of Brian in a depth role. I know they're stacked at defensive tackle, but
it might be a warning.
I got a top 20 grade on Taven Bryan, so this is easily an A grade for me at this
I
point.
worked at Purdue's. I got to hit it another one.
I have Harrison Phillips ahead of Taven Bryan, and that's really the only thing keeping me from giving this an A+ grade.
Are you telling me you got somebody in front of Martavis Bryant?
No, Taven Bryan, the Jaguars' first-round pick. That's the only thing. I like Harrison Phillips out of Stanford a lot
more. The pass rushing ability that they need up the middle, that's really what they were missing. They had pass rushes from the outside. They had pass rushes from linebackers. They had pass rushes everywhere else. They didn't have pass rushes up the middle. So this fits the need.
Yeah, I gave it an A grade. I didn't give it an A+ grade because I like Harrison Phillips better, but he's the next best defensive tackle, so it's an A grade for me. And the value's fantastic.
So it's a good grade. It's a good pick based on.
I'm going to give the Vikings a C grade for Mike Hughes. Maybe a D grade. I don't know. I'm torn on that.
Yeah.
I'll give the Vikings a
so
C grade.
Based on actual player talent overall. So you can make your decision based on one or the other. But if you
to be fair, Tony Mario and Mark Suba both had Mike Hughes going in round 1. Tony and Mark both had Hughes going in round 1. I had him going in round 3.
Now, Chris, I gotta ask you and Oren, based on your opinions, what are the best and worst picks of the draft? Starting with the best, Oren, what was your best pick of the first round? Oren, are you still there? Okay, Chris, what was your...
There were 4 picks that got A+ grades, and only 4. Saquon Barkley, Quentin Nelson, Roquan Smith, and Derwin James. Every other pick was a reach to a degree. I think that I can't decide until I see what those 4 teams do on day 2 to build around their talent.
I don't care about day 2. What is your best pick of day 1?
I have 4 players tied with the same grade.
Not 4, 1.
I'm not picking until I have a more meticulous process, Joey. I look at what the teams do on day 1, day 2, and day 3. I have a very meticulous process for deciding whether a team wins the draft or not.
Yeah. It's like you were telling me earlier about the doing based on value and talent, and now you're kind of getting rid of value and talent. Come on.
But, I mean, Saquon Barkley, the Giants at 2 is kind of a Captain Obvious pick. I'll eliminate Nelson because even though I love the pick, the Colts signed 3 guards in free agency. So I'll eliminate him from being the best overall value pick. So we're left with Barkley. The Giants had 3 running backs, and there's people that saying Barkley doesn't average this many yards per carry. So we'll narrow it down to Roquan at 8 and Derwin James at 17 to be fair to our audience here. And Roquan's an awesome pick. So is Derwin James. The Chargers got screwed out of Malik Hooker and Jamal Adams last year. And, well, they could have took Malik Hooker at 7, but they chose Mike Williams. And they made up for it in a big way with Derwin James tonight. So that's a big win for them.
So Derwin, here. Or did he go to the Avengers?
I'm not sure. I know Mark got to see the Avengers on Tuesday at a secret location. So
my best pick had to be not based purely on value, but simply because I think he was a top 3 talent. Is Roquan Smith. Like, I mean, this guy, you can plug him in anywhere. You know, honestly, on the front 3, but I think you can probably plug him in as strong safety if you wanted to. I mean, he is that athletically gifted, and he would be an immediate upgrade. I mean, he could start right away. So, in those respects, yeah, I've got to go with Roquan Smith because he's going to be an immediate impact. I mean, he was a top 3 talent.
yeah.
Chris, what do you think about round 1, the end of the overall round 1?
Well, I mean, we saw 3 running backs go in round 1, 2 that were reaches, and 1 that went to the Giants at 2 overall. So we saw 2 teams reach for running backs here and really, really get this draft off to a poor start. So Patriots have to blow me away tomorrow. They have to. The sad part is if they knock out day 2 of this draft, they could still technically be that powerhouse team. But right now, the Colts have a real window of opportunity to get some premium steals. I mean, they got Nelson at 6, so if they can get some guys who are still on the board here, let's say they get Harold Landry at 36, and then they get Geis or Nick Chubb at 37, and then they get someone like Maurice Hurst, and they manage to really knock it out. If they can have that type of draft tomorrow, they can put themselves in a position to challenge in the AFC South division because there's just so many good value picks. And the window of opportunity for the Colts is really there if you think about it.
Yeah, I would say by round 1, there were a lot of surprises. Some good, some bad, some just what the hell. I'd say as a team, the Raiders probably won the whole thing outright simply because they outmaneuvered everybody else overall.
Well, the Raiders got a player at 15 in that. They got Colt Miller at 15.
The Raiders got their tackle. The Raiders got their receiver. The Raiders got everything and more that they needed.
Their defense is still a mess. Their defense is still a mess. Their defense is still a mess. I think that's Oren getting ready for the Avengers, and I'm currently on the final pick in the round 1. That is the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, this podcast has been under 4 hours. The draft was 3.5 hours, so.
This is a surprising round 1.
Surprisingly quick.
It was fun. My first night doing the NFL draft in public at a public forum. I mean, I don't know how it came across, the broadcast wise. I know it was kind of loud at times, but I think it was a success.
Yeah.
As far as, because if we would do it, we would have headphones on, we'd mute sound a little bit better. The overall, I think, was an overall success for us overall,
and I put 350 players on my draft game. Every single player on my draft game got picked in day one. So it's not like the MLS draft where Joey's going to roast me on day two. It was actually a smooth draft.
I think it was awesome. You know, an awesome night for us as a group. And a great night for the draft as well, because it just had just enough surprises and just enough, you know, what the fuck moments.
And
that,
8 F grades in round 1. 8 F grades in round 1. And 8. That is how many I have. And you're sort of impressed. I initially had 7, but I flipped the Denzel Ward to an F grade because I'm a man of my word, and I said if Lamar Jackson went 32nd, I would flip that to an F grade because I was that pissed off with the Patriots draft. I really gave that a D grade.
So, yeah, don't be upset. But it was a great night, and, you know, where right now the Cleveland Browns on the clock with the 33rd overall pick. So we'll see what happens, you know, to start round 2 tomorrow night.
I'm giving the Lamar Jackson pick a C grade, so we don't know what the Ravens gave up. The draft sort of just cut off after pick 32. They didn't really go into the specifics of what the Eagles got in that trade, and that sort of bothered me. A lazy coverage by the media, by the way, for not giving us those specifics. If we can actually get that before we get off the call, that would be fantastic. So I am at that point where I'm probably going to switch back from the draft game to top of the page, but 8 F grades. And if you're one of these teams that drafted an F grade player in round 1, do not be discouraged because guess what? I gave Todd Gurley and Odell Beckham F grades, and I was wrong about those players in the worst way possible. So that's a perfect example of why you cannot value these grades and just go by who's on your board. I mean, so heading into day 2.
I roasted his ass on the NHL draft. I didn't know anything about it. But he said, "You're my top 5 picks." Yeah,
it's like 4 top 20 players are on the board here heading into tomorrow, and it's amazing that has.
What'd you say? 4 of your top 20 players.
Well, 4 of the top 20 are still on the board. Josh Jackson, who I had at 4.
Top 20 players are still on the board.
Josh Jackson, who I had at 14, is still on the board. Then Harrison Phillips, who I mocked to the Chargers at 17, who had a great combine, great pro day, great tape. He's on the board. Dante Jackson, the LSU corner, still on the board at number 18 on my board. I mocked him to Seattle 18. And Will Hernandez, the UTEP guard, is still on the board. That's for my top 20, but there's other guys like Connor Williams, Maurice Hurst, still there. Deshaun Elliott, still there. Gesicki, my number 1 tight end, still there. Ronnie Harrison is still there. Lorenzo Carter is still there. Harold Landry is still there. B.J. Hill is there. Geis is there. Okorafor is there. Braden Smith is there. Justin Reed, the Stanford safety, Lisa Likes is there. Orlando Brown is there. Mark Andrews is there. Isaiah Oliver is there. So Christian Kirk's there. Alex Kappa's there. So really, a lot of talent is still on the board heading into day 2.
What is wrong with you? It's like 60% of your top 20 is still on the board for round 2.
Like how many players in the
what is wrong with this situation, Chris?
Like NFL teams are reaching.
Come on, man. It's like, what were you thinking?
It's like the NFL teams are reaching. I mean, only top. Wynn and Alexander were the only players with round 2 grades that teams reached for. I mean,
do we have to go back to Major League Soccer to see a failure?
I mean, really not that many reaches with second-round talents. I'd say 30 of the 32 players I have second-round grades on are still there, along with the 10 first-round grades. So 10 players I have round 1 grades on are still on the board, and 30 players that I have round 2 grades on are still on the board. That just speaks volumes about how shitty the first round of this year's draft was.
You are like the Patriots in this draft. It's a failure. Failure. I can't get more probably at the moment, so it's like, it's whatever.
But it's going to make it very interesting day 2 because someone's going to fall to day 3. It's a numbers game. I mean, 30 of my top 32 are still.
Absolutely. It's like, I agree. Like,
I mean,
despite your failure, I mean, I absolutely agree with you. You know,
10 of my first, I've got 10 first rounders and 30 second rounders heading into day 2. So 40 picks, unless those 40 get off the board. I don't know if all 40 of those players I have round 1 and round 2 grades on are going to make it past day 2 with these picks from 33 to 100 tomorrow night. So
33 to 100, 40 players can't. Literally, you know, in round 2, 40 players cannot go because there are only 32 picks.
yeah, exactly. So, and there's 40 players I have a first or second round grade on. So you're going to get value in the third round. Who's going to, because the Colts have a real window of opportunity. If they hit on all these value picks, they are going to be in position to challenge for this division. Because they already got the guy to protect Luck in Nelson. Yeah. I've tweeted the pick. I've showed people the board. Okay, I'm about ready to close this out because I do have the grades on our Google Hangout all posted. I have all that ready to go heading into tomorrow, so I could show people what our draft game looks like on Google Hangouts, but we've already talked about the picks, and we've been pretty straightforward and to the point heading into tomorrow. So if you're the Browns at 33, let's...
remember, as of the end of the first round, the Cleveland Browns are on the clock with 32. They've got
33.
2 of the top picks in the second round. They've got 3 in the second. So tune in the early round.
Who do you think the Browns should take? I think Josh Jackson's a no-brainer tomorrow to Cleveland. Josh Jackson, that's the no-brainer. That's who they should take. If they had taken him over Denzel Ward, it would have been a C grade. It would have been a reach, but probably would have gave it a C or a B or an A- grade because I just like him that much better in coverage. So he's there. Oliver's there. There's a lot of talent.
Overall, since he's still there, it's probably best that they didn't take him. So,
and Mark Suba picked Josh Jackson, the Browns, at 33 in his mock.
Yeah, the Browns are on the clock. So for everybody listening, it was always a pleasure. I mean, Chris will, close us out here. But for me, Joseph Potter, it's always a pleasure to be with you guys.
Yeah, so 40 players that I have a round 1 or round 2 grade on are still there. I have 10 first rounders and 30 second rounders still on the board. So realistically, one of those players I have a round 1 or round 2 grade on is going to fall to round 3. Realistically, 8 are going to fall to round 3, 8 of those 40 players. But could one of them fall to day 4? Last year I had Carlos, the guy from Clemson who went to the Texans in round 4 who had a round 1 grade on. He fell to round 4. Carlos Watkins, I think his name was. And he fell to round 4.
Yeah, Watkins, absolutely.
So it can happen. A player with a round 1 grade could fall. So we'll see what happens here. But overall, a fun draft, an insane draft, an over-the-top draft, a draft where the NFL tried to make me hand out so many F grades that I would go into cardiac arrest. Well, you failed to accomplish that. I'm still here, and I will be back for day 2 tomorrow, folks. So thank you, Joey. Thank you for everyone who tuned in.
For Chris Ransom, I'm Joseph Potter. For Oren Shiri and Ryan Romero, and for everybody else who chimed in, Chris.
So long from the Utopia of Sports. The Browns will be on the clock in about 19 hours until the Browns are on the clock. I believe the draft starts at 7 p.m. tomorrow. But we'll look it up and we'll schedule the show. I'll do that as soon as we end this call. Thank you guys so much. Oh, TalkShoe is not letting me end the call.
Chris, it's like...
I think Joey's going to give me an F grade in addition to me giving the 8 NFL teams F grades in round 1.
This show's now get a B grade because Chris failed.
Just like 8 NFL teams. 8 teams get F grades.
Now if it doesn't reload, then that boosts up to an A grade.
Well, now it's saying retrieving info and it's not reloading, so it says TalkShoe service unavailable, but it's like I'm reloading it. We're the only ones on the call now, but yeah. So long from the Utopia of Sports, Draft Utopia. We will be back for day 2 tomorrow evening. So long and enjoy day 1 of the NFL draft.
Call recording has been completed.
And this is also the end of our Google Hangout.